the maximum level expert. She thrives in interstellar riches. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76. She runs away, and he chases them. Neither of them can escape. 3. It was a monster that she could not describe. It lay behind them with its limbs twisted at an angle, its mouth wide open, its tongue longer than its chin sticking out, dripping with emerald green venom. If Wen Jiu had reacted a second slower, it would have bitten off Wen Jiu's fragile neck and swallowed his head. The arrow she had just shot directly pierced the monster's eyeball, and the sudden pain prevented the monster from reacting in time, and it fell directly from the tree trunk. Just in case, Wen Jiu took out his folding bow and aimed, not giving the monster a chance to climb up again, and shot an arrow through its heart. How did it get up here? Kyoshi trembled in fear. She and Wen Jiu had never let down their guard, but this monster actually appeared behind them silently. If Zikingai hadn't warned them just now, I'm afraid it would be we can't just sit there and wait for death. Wen Jiu put the quiver on his back. The direction of this monster's change seems to be a chameleon. No wonder we didn't find any trace of it. It was also when he saw the monster fall to the ground just now. Its legs and the brown land turned into the same color, which made Wen Jiu understand. As for why it didn't make any sound when it moved, it was unknown. Wen Jiu squatted on the tree and observed carefully for a while and jumped down after finding nothing unusual. After she landed, Kyoshi also jumped down, but her face was still a little pale. Let's go. Wen Jiu waved at the tree where Zikingai and the others were hiding, and immediately 2 figures fell down. Several people kept shuttling in the jungle. Wen Jiu's plan was to find other surviving students, understand the situation first, and then work together to resist the monsters that kept attacking. But things are always unpredictable. Just as it was getting dark, they found a normal student curled up in the bushes. According to this student, the first group of students who mutated were in the same team as her. Before coming here, everyone was in the same bus, so they decided to form a team together because there is strength in numbers. After coming in, they did form a team according to the agreement. First found a place to make a camp, and then divided the work to get water, food, etc. Everything seemed to be going so smoothly, until last night, a male classmate picked a bunch of brightly colored mushrooms, and said that they would not be poisonous after being roasted. Everyone had no experience in identifying mushrooms, and looking at the pile of mushrooms emitting green fluorescence, they inexplicably had the urge to eat them. So they shared the mushrooms happily. However, the surviving student had a psychological shadow on mushrooms. She had seen a villain because of eating mushrooms by mistake, and it took a lot of tossing to recover. This is how she escaped. Woo woo woo, I told you that it was a poisonous mushroom, but they just didn't listen to me. When the fragile little girl saw Wen Jiu and the others, tears kept rolling down like pearls from a broken string. After hearing her story, Wen Jiu and the others were ashamed. As expected, mushrooms should not be eaten randomly. After they ate the mushrooms, there was nothing unusual at first. But in the middle of the night, they all ran out from their resting place, like they were possessed and clamored for food. I was so scared at the time. Everyone's eyes were glowing green, and I was so scared that I ran away on the spot. Fang Jia twitched, and snot and tears flowed out together. It seems that they should not have been able to smell the smell at the beginning, and could not rely on identifying the smell to find people. Otherwise the little girl would have been buried here long ago. Do you want to go with us? Kyoshi squatted in front of Fang Jia, reaching out her hand with pity to help her wipe her tears. The decision to take Fang Jia with them was a private communication between them, so Kyoshi came to ask, "Then will you protect me?" Fang Jia's eyes were red, like a little animal who had been wronged. No. Wen Jiu's voice was cold, and no one can protect you all the time. Instead of waiting for others to protect you, it's better to. As he said that, Wen Jiu picked up the folding bow and shot an arrow into the bushes on the right. A deformed monster suddenly fell out of the bushes, and Fang Jia screamed in shock. It's better to protect yourself. Wen Jiu shot another arrow at the deformed monster on the ground, hitting it right in the heart. She walked forward to investigate and found that it was similar to the deformed monster she had killed before. Although their appearance had changed, the position of their hearts had not shifted. In this case, it would not be particularly troublesome to solve it, at least their weaknesses were found. Wow, so scary. Fang Jia's tears burst out again. Have all my friends become like this? Wen Jiu was not particularly good at comforting people, so he could only let Kao Shishi and Minahan take action. But the sky was getting dark, and they could not delay any longer, so Wen Jiu pulled up Fang Jia, who was squatting on the ground crying. I know it's hard for you to accept it for a while, but I hope you can understand that we don't have much time. If you are willing to go with us, don't cry anymore. The more you cry, the more monsters you will attract. In fact, Wen Jiu has always known that she is a little too cold in some aspects, but now in this crisis-ridden situation, she really doesn't have the patience to accompany a little girl. After saying that, Fang Jia finally stopped sobbing, holding Kao Shishi's hand, and walking with Wen Jiu and the others. The group continued to look for other surviving students. On the way, Wen Jiu explained his experience of killing monsters to a few people. It's just that everyone was in a complicated mood. Before the mutation, those monsters were all students of the 3047 Academy. But for some reason, they didn't find any other surviving students until dark, and they didn't encounter any deformed monsters. It's so quiet here. Minahan couldn't help but approach Wen Jiu. Why don't other students appear? It's so strange. Wen Jiu also fell into deep thought. This wilderness survival training was carried out by thousands of freshmen. Even though the Dianui forest is very large, she remembered clearly that the teacher said that the training would only be conducted outside the forest. These days, every time she went out to look for resource boxes, she would occasionally encounter several teams of students. So it was really strange that it was so quiet here. Let's look further ahead. At worst, we can wait until the early morning and a teacher will come to pick us up. Kao Shishi pulled Fang Jia and looked to the side. It was pitch black all around, but she seemed to see a little green fluorescence. Is there anyone over there? Fang Jia followed Kao Shishi's line of sight and looked. I see there seems to be a little green light over there. Zikingayu glanced casually. He was rarely quiet all the way and had not spoken much. But at this moment, he widened his eyes in horror and said to Wen Jiu in a trembling voice, that seems to be an eye. As soon as he finished speaking, the little fluorescence moved closer to their direction. At this time, they finally saw clearly that they were green spider eyes. Today's second update has been delivered. Please sign for it. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can comment to the author at the same time. I hope everyone can vote more. Your support is the motivation for the author to write. Thank you to the little angels who voted for monthly tickets and recommendation tickets, as well as the little angels who clicked on the collection, insisted on punching in, and clicking on the comment. Thank you very much for your support. 030 at the same time. Welcome new little cuties. Remember to collect, it would be best if you can vote, punch in or click on the comment. PS. Because these chapters may have a little bit of that content, if the review is automatically deleted and the text is not smooth, please understand the little angels. The author will make up for it immediately after discovering it. Chapter 77, she runs away and he chases them. Neither of them can escape for run. Wen Jiu reacted immediately, and without even looking, he just grabbed someone and started running forward. They fled in panic, and the giant spider was getting closer and closer. Green fluorescence emanated from its 4 big eyes, and with this weak light, Wen Jiu and his friends finally saw the surroundings of the forest clearly. Countless white spider silks were intertwined in the woods, and the students who had lost their whereabouts before were trapped inside and unable to move. They were bound from head to toe by spider silk, as if they were wrapped in a cocoon. The strangest thing was that Wen Jiu and his friends could still vaguely see the expressions of these students from outside the spider silk. Some had turned into skinny human bodies, while others seemed to have been caught not long ago, staring straight outside with wide-eyed and terrified faces. Seeing that its prey was about to escape, the giant spider suddenly spit out spider silk in the direction of Wen Jiu and his friends' escape. Although Fang Jia was being pulled forward by Kyoshi, her own physical strength was not good, and her running speed was completely incomparable to others. The spider silk, which was thicker than her arm, instantly wrapped around her ankles and dragged her to the ground. Save me. Fang Jia had not yet awakened her special powers. She desperately used her 5 fingers to dig into the ground, and even the cracks between her nails were stained with mud, but it was useless. In despair, she shed tears again, and her tears mixed with the dirty mud. She couldn't get rid of such a strong spider silk, no matter how hard she struggled. Just when she thought she was going to die here, a flame came and successfully burned the spider silk that was wrapped around her. Run. Kyoshi threw a few more fireballs behind Fang Jia and then continued to run forward. There was no time to thank her at this time. Fang Jia could only get up immediately and run forward in a panic. Fuck, Jiu, please think of a way. Wen Jiu ran for a while before he realized that the person he had grabbed was Ziqingyu. The other party was so scared by the giant spider that he was out of his mind. If Wen Jiu hadn't grabbed him and ran, he would probably have been standing there with weak legs waiting to die. I want a hammer. Wen Jiu was speechless at Ziqingyu's disappointing look. Do you think we can knock down that spider with our abilities? It can trample us to death with one kick. Then what should we do? Ziqingyu felt the spider silk coming from behind and immediately used her supernatural power to roll up a strong wind to cut the spider silk. We can't keep running like this. It's still early in the morning. The giant spider that has evolved into this has already had a trace of consciousness. Seeing that these prey could not be caught with spider silk, it stopped chasing. It seems that it is not chasing anymore. Ziqingyu heard the hissing sound of the spider moving behind him, but as soon as he finished speaking, a louder and stronger roar came. The deformed monsters that had been chasing them before now emerged from all over the forest, still looking like starving ghosts with green eyes, and then began to attack them frantically. Wen Jiu instantly picked up the folding bow and shot an arrow at the monster that jumped up and stretched out its claws. Then she shot a few more arrows in a row, repelling the deformed monsters that tried to surround them. But the deformed monsters roared in anger, calling more companions to rush over. Ziqingyu seemed to be still hesitating, with a tangled look on her face. They are no longer human. Wen Jiu shot an arrow behind Ziqingyu, and the monster that looked like a humanoid spider instantly fell at their feet. Do you want to go forward and influence them with love and see if they recognize you as a classmate or tear you apart directly? There was no time for him to prepare himself mentally, as more and more deformed monsters surrounded them, and the giant spider stood not far away, as if watching a show, staring at them mockingly with its huge green eyes. It seemed as if it had already anticipated their death. Ziqingyu picked up the tactical knife in a trance, and at the same time, summoned the fierce wind to cut off the heads of monsters one after another. When he wanted to attack again, he suddenly froze in place. It was a deformed monster that seemed to have just mutated not long ago. Its school uniform was still intact, its limbs were very normal, and even its steps when it walked were no different from those of a normal person. If it weren't for its eyes also glowing green, Ziqingyu almost thought it was a living student. And that face was somewhat familiar to Ziqingyu and Wen Jiu. It's Li Mozen. Ziqingyu's voice trembled, and he didn't know how to face it. Although he looked down on Li Mozen when the other party proposed to form a team before entering the forest, he decisively pulled Wen Jiu to refuse the invitation to form a team. But it doesn't mean that he can kill this classmate who used to get along with him and was not completely deformed. However, before he could come out of his inner struggle, the sound of a sharp arrow breaking through the air rang by his ears. Then came Wen Jiu's cold voice. So what? Do you want to give him a hug? He knew that Wen Jiu was right, but for a student who was experiencing this for the first time, the psychological pressure was too great. Ziqingyu finally couldn't hold it anymore at this moment. He bit his lips tightly, and tears flashed in his round eyes. It can be seen that he was both wronged and sad. Unfortunately, Wen Jiu didn't mean to comfort him now. He just kept shooting arrows at the deformed monsters with an indifferent expression. One after another, the deformed monsters were shot in the heart and fell to the ground, but the deformed monsters surrounding them seemed to have not decreased, but more and more. Fuck. Wen Jiu rarely burst out a swear word. She really wanted to curse. Judging from the situation of the deformed monsters attacking people, the poison that caused the mutation is not contagious. Then it can only be that other students picked the poisonous mushrooms like Fang Jia's teammates. Looking at the endless number of monsters, it is conceivable how many students picked mushrooms stupidly. Put away your useless tears. A flickering blue flame burst out from Wen Jiu's palm. This was not the first time that Zikingai saw Wen Jiu use fire powers. But as far as he knew, the flames summoned by ordinary people using fire powers should be orange-red. This was the first time he saw this kind of deep blue flame, but he was very tactful and did not ask or say much. Do you want me to tell you again how to act? Wen Jiu and Zikingai stood back to back, protecting each other. Get ready. In the dim night, countless deformed monsters surrounded them. Their terrifying faces were looming in the faint moonlight, and piercing roars continued to sound. Rest in peace. Wen Jiu's voice was soft, but the flame in his hand became hotter and hotter. A huge light emerged in the silent night, and the surviving students who were madly running for their lives like them stopped and looked at the bright light. A glimmer of hope finally appeared on the numb and terrified faces. The burning heat can be felt just by approaching, and it finally attracted the attention of the giant spider. It stared with its four big eyes, and walked towards the location where the heat was radiating. Today's third update has also been delivered. Please check it in time 0:30. Today is also a day of craving for votes. I crave votes when I'm typing, when I'm sleeping, and when I'm eating. Oh, votes equals W equals as usual. Thank the little angels who voted for monthly tickets, recommended tickets, clicked on collections, checked in daily, and clicked on comments. You are all my little angels. Oh, love 0:30 at the same time. Welcome new little cuties. Do you want to join the ranks of little angels? Come and stretch out your little hand and click on collections, votes, and check in one stop, and you can become a beautiful little angel in the author's heart. Come, try it. Unlockable settings. There are currently 8 kinds of superpowers discovered by federal research, namely gold, wood, water, fire, earth, ice, light, and darkness. Wen Jiu is a dual-powered person of fire and wood. Kyoshi is a fire-powered person. Minahan is an earth-type Espear. Zikingai is a gold-type Espear. Strong wind is a skill in the gold-type Espear. And there is no wine-type Espear. Chapter 78. She runs away, and he chases them. Neither of them can escape. 5. Are you okay, Sister Jiu? Zikingai was carrying Wen Jiu on her back in a panic, trying to find the lost Kyoshi and the others. Just after Wen Jiu used his fire ability, the deformed monsters were instantly engulfed by the deep blue hot flames, and the stunning blue sea of fire was very gorgeous. But at the moment of release, Wen Jiu fell to the ground due to excessive use of her ability, and Zikingai was so scared that she quickly carried her on her back and ran away. Woo woo woo, Sister Jiu, say something. Zikingai had already run for a while with her on her back, but Wen Jiu made no other sound except for her faint breathing. Sister Jiu, you have to hold on. The cafeteria hasn't paid us yet. If you die, what if the cafeteria doesn't acknowledge it and doesn't pay us? As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly felt Wen Jiu, who was lying on his back, move. The voice he made was very weak, but it was enough for him to hear clearly. Don't even think about delaying my salary. Okay, it looks like Wen Jiu can still hold on for a while. Zikingai carried Wen Jiu through the woods and searched for a long time before she found Minahan. She had originally been running away with Kyoshi and Fang Jia, but they accidentally got separated on the way and were almost caught by the silk of a giant spider. When Zikingai found her, she was chopping the deformed monster with a kitchen knife, and her whole body was covered in bright red blood. If Zikingai hadn't recognized the small kitchen knife in her hand, she would have turned around and ran away. I saw a few surviving students on the way I was running away, but they ran away when they saw me, and I didn't have time to stop them. You're covered in blood. Who wouldn't run away when they see you? Zikingai complained silently in his heart, but didn't show it on his face. How long will it be before the early morning? If you keep running, you'll die at the hands of these monsters sooner or later. Minahan frowned. She handed over to Zikingayu. Now she was running with Wen Jiu on her back. Hearing this, Zikingayu opened the wisdom ring and looked at the time. There were still 2.5 hours until the early morning. Can they really hold on until the early morning? Or we can crush the crystal stone on the bracelet and let the teachers come in to support us earlier, Zikingayu said, while looking for the traces of Kaioshishi and the others. Unfortunately, they didn't find anyone after walking around for a long time. However, Minahan shook her head and said in a very depressed mood, I tried it before, and it didn't work. After she finished speaking, Zikingayu looked at the bracelet on her wrist. The clear yellow crystal stone that was originally embedded on it had disappeared at this time. The atmosphere became even more depressed. If even the signal could not be transmitted, then in the early morning, can the teachers really find and rescue them? Left. As soon as Wen Jiu finished speaking, a deformed monster suddenly jumped out from the bushes on the left. It had a slender body, and even its limbs were strangely slender. It was as if someone had stretched it alive, and its head was also flat and slender. It looked like a stick insect with a deformed human face. Even though he had transformed into this appearance, Zikingayu still recognized him. This was Li Mozen's thin brother. He had always thought that this man looked too thin, like a fragile bamboo pole. Unexpectedly, after the mutation, he really became a bamboo pole. But at this time, Zikingayu was different from the hesitant him before. He had deeply understood that these students could not be changed back. So he simply controlled the tactical knife and stabbed it into the chest of the deformed monster. The scarlet blood stained the shiny blade. Zikingayu took back the tactical knife expressionlessly and then continued to look for Kaioshishi with Minahan and the others. On the other side, Kaioshishi and Fang Jia have been surrounded by the deformed monsters for a long time, and her pistol has run out of bullets. Fang Jia has no other weapons to defend herself, and she has no awakened superpowers. She can only rely on Kaioshishi to burn the monsters with her firepower to support her. Woo, 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 sister, I'm so scared. Fang Jia huddled beside Kaioshishi, not daring to look at the deformed monsters. Are we going to be eaten? No. Kaioshishi released another fireball and hit it, forcing back a deformed monster that tried to pounce on her. She didn't have a high degree of control over her superpowers, and she had held on for such a long time. Her lips are now pale, and she is sweating profusely. She may fall down in a while. But Kaioshishi firmly believes that Wen Jiu will come to find her. So she is still struggling to hold on, even in the face of these deformed monsters who are constantly baring their fangs and claws and want to attack them. She is not afraid. Woo, 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 woo. Fang Jia was extremely scared at this moment. She had long noticed that Kaioshishi was getting weaker and weaker. But she was powerless. If Kaioshishi fell, she would have to face the end of being besieged and killed by the deformed monsters. This feeling of despair made Fang Jia's tears burst, and countless tears rolled down. Unfortunately, those deformed monsters did not feel pity for her crying. They would only roar and call more monster companions, preparing to tear them apart and swallow them. Oh. Kaioshishi threw out another fireball, but her steps were weak, and she almost knelt on the ground. The fireball also illuminated the ugly faces of the monsters that were in a circle. They could no longer count how many monsters were surrounding them. I'll use fire to burn a gap over there later. Remember to hold me, and we'll escape from there. Kaioshishi's voice was very weak, and the feeling of weakness from overusing her supernatural powers kept coming to her. Hearing this, Fang Jia twitched her nose to hold back her tears and pulled Kaioshishi's sleeves tightly. After a moment, Kaioshishi used all her strength to inspire a scorching flame and slashed towards the place where the monsters were least. Fortunately, she successfully slashed a gap. Seeing this, Fang Jia immediately pulled her to run towards the gap. But Kaioshishi's vision was a little blurred at this time, and she was so weak that her legs were weak that she could hardly walk. Fang Jia, carry me on your back. Kaioshishi hadn't finished speaking when she realized that Fang Jia's hand, which had been tightly holding her, had loosened. She fell heavily to the ground, and Fang Jia rushed out of the gap without looking back. She was left facing these countless deformed monsters. The roars of the monsters around seemed to be mocking her innocence. She really couldn't hold on any longer. When would Wen Jiu come to save her? Her vision gradually became blurred, and those deformed monsters also sensed her weakness, rushing forward to drown her. However, the expected pain did not come, and the mud around her suddenly covered her whole body. In a trance, she seemed to hear a familiar voice sounding in the distance. Kyoshi, we are here to save you. Today's first update has been delivered. Everyone remember to sign for it in time. I hope everyone can vote, check in and comment more. Your support is the motivation for the little author to write. Yeah. 030 Thank you to the little angels who cast monthly tickets and recommendation tickets, and also thank you to the little angels who clicked on the collection, insisted on checking in, and posted comments. Thank you. W equals at the same time. Welcome new little cuties. If you like it, remember to collect it. It would be best if you can vote, check in and comment. Nagging. Welcome everyone to comment. If you have any questions or opinions, you can comment to the little author. I will try my best to reply to everyone in time. Open bracket closed bracket close bracket. Chapter 79 It's a Big Spider 1. After searching for a long time, Zikingayu and Minahan vaguely saw a group of deformed monsters in the distance. They quickened their pace and rushed over there, hoping that the person surrounded was not Kyoshi. But things did not go as planned. The orange-red flames kept lighting up, and Zikingayu saw the situation inside from the gaps of the monsters at the first time. Kyoshi was grabbed by Fangjia with a pale face, and they finally found a way to escape. But when they were about to get out of the encirclement, Fangjia directly let go of Kyoshi's hand and fled alone. The most ironic thing is that when they met Fangjia before, it was Kyoshi who first proposed to take her with them. Kyoshi, we are here to save you. After that, Zikingayu controlled the tactical knife and flew towards the deformed monsters. At the same time, Minahan also used her earth-related abilities to successfully cover Kyoshi under the soil to prevent the monsters from hurting her. After they quickly dealt with these deformed monsters, they dug Kyoshi out of the pile of dirt. Sorry, I haven't used my superpowers much since I awakened them. Minahan looked at Kyoshi, who was covered in mud, and apologized. But Kyoshi was too weak to answer Minahan at this time, and could only let Zikingayu carry her on his back. Hold on a little longer, it will be early morning in less than an hour. Zikingayu tried to encourage Kyoshi and cheer herself up at the same time. At this moment, Fangjia, who had fled far away, suddenly ran back to them. Zikingayu thought that the other party wanted to seek shelter again, but she didn't expect that there were countless spider silks following Fangjia closely. Help! Save me! Plop! Just like before, Fangjia was entangled by spider silk around her ankle again, and fell to the ground. Her screams continued to ring. Please save me. I didn't mean it. I really didn't mean it. I just want to live. I'm sorry. Sorry. Save me. Unfortunately, no one will help her get rid of the spider silk this time. As the distance with the giant spider gets closer and closer, Fangjia's expression becomes more and more terrified, and infinite regret emerges in her heart. But there is no regret medicine in the world. Even if she regrets it, it's too late. Wen Jiu lay on Minahan's back, watching Fangjia being dragged away by the spider silk, and then swallowed by the giant spider's mouthparts. Go. As soon as her voice fell, the giant spider immediately spit out countless spider silk in their direction. Zikingayu and Minahan each carried a person on their backs, but their running speed was not slow at all. Seeing that the spider silk was dodged by them again, the giant spider finally became a little impatient. It once again released a thicker white spider silk, accompanied by corrosive and highly toxic juice. The venom corroded a big pit the moment it fell on the ground. In order to avoid the dripping green venom, Zikingayu and Minahan slowed down for a moment, but during these few seconds of slowing down, the white spider silk that attacked them instantly entangled them. They didn't even have a chance to react. The spider silk instantly wrapped them up and sent them to the position of the giant spider. Fuck, my superpower can't be used. The spider silk that attacked this time seemed to have some characteristics. After wrapping Zikingayu, he wanted to use his superpower to cut it off, but found that he couldn't sense the superpower at all. Me too. Minahan tried hard to activate the superpower, but failed. Seeing that they were about to be sent to the giant spider's mouthparts, they almost foresaw that they would be swallowed like Fangia. However, the spider silk only hung them in the air, and the giant spider was like playing with toys. It approached Wen Jiu and others who were wrapped into a ball, and then gently touched them with its tentacles, and they swayed left and right in the air. I'm dying. I'm dying. Zikingai came into close contact with the giant spider's pedipalps. His excellent eyesight allowed him to clearly see the giant spider's huge green eyes and the grey fluff around the eyes. This unexpected intimacy made him feel that his eyes went black, and he fainted instantly. Wen Jiu was very weak now. Not to mention trying hard to stimulate her superpowers, she even had difficulty staying awake. Are we going to die here? Minahan finally panicked. Now that two of her teammates were weak and one was unconscious, she had no idea how to solve this dilemma. Unfortunately, she couldn't hear Wen Jiu's answer, because Wen Jiu had entered a trance. After fiddling with it for a while, the giant spider seemed to feel a little bored. It manipulated the spider silk to throw them to the ground, and then instantly formed a spider silk cocoon to lock them in. After being wrapped up, Wen Jiu and the others realized what this spider silk cocoon was used for. They couldn't move or struggle, and could only feel their vitality being constantly drained away. After being absorbed for only a short while, Minahan had become as weak as Wen Jiu and Kaioshishi. Wen Jiu felt that she was very weak at this moment, and a feeling of wanting to fall asleep also came up. If she fell asleep like this, would she be able to sleep back to her original world? Suddenly, she seemed to see her master waving and shouting at her. You can't fall asleep. You can't fall asleep. No. Can't. Fall asleep. Wen Jiu murmured with her eyes closed. But she wanted to go home so much. She wanted to go back to the carefree days before. A variety of complex emotions surged in her heart, stimulating Wen Jiu to burst into tears involuntarily. The giant spider looked at its masterpiece with satisfaction, and it casually pulled out a spider silk cocoon to play with it. The endless vitality flowed into its body along the spider silk, making its strength begin to grow infinitely again. It relied on absorbing the vitality of others to quietly grow from a small spider to what it is today. As long as it can drain these students, it can break through the limitations of the Dianui forest and rush to the outside world. The giant spider was so happy that it narrowed its eyes when it thought that it would soon be able to leave this broken place. But it soon realized that something was wrong. There was a spider silk cocoon that did not seem to transmit vitality to it. Which one was it? It walked to the front of the unique spider silk cocoon, and a faint blue light shone from it, which made it very confused. The next second, the blue light suddenly intensified, and the temperature around it rose. Its unbreakable spider silk cocoon turned into ashes, revealing three little people lying on the ground inside, and a little person standing there with a naughty smile. Today's second update. Hey. Thank you to the little angels for sending monthly tickets and recommendation tickets, and thank you to every little angel who clicked to collect, insisted on punching in and commenting. The little author sincerely thanks everyone. 030 at the same time. Welcome new little cuties. If you like, you can click to collect, and it would be best if you can vote or punch in and comment. Thank you to the little angels who gave rewards yesterday. Thank you to the little angel Wan Sheng for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Sui Zin for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Wan Sheng, small account, for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Do You Want Ice Cream for the reward. Thank you to the little angels who cast monthly tickets yesterday. Thank you to Sunflower for the monthly ticket. Thank you to Wudeng for the monthly ticket. Thank you to Yuan Baoting Bao for the 2 monthly tickets. Thank you to Fiayu for the monthly ticket. Thank you to Zioman for the 2 monthly tickets. Chapter 80. It's a Big Spider 2. The full moon was high in the sky, and the mist was thick. When the bright moonlight fell, it inexplicably brought a cold feeling to people. Wen Jiu had a smile on her lips, and her white fangs were revealed instantly. She played with a beam of deep blue flame, and looked at the giant spider. Is it fun? If Kaioshishi and the others were still awake, they would find that her originally grey blue eyes were now an inorganic silver. The giant spider didn't understand why the spider silk cocoon, which no one had ever been able to escape from, was destroyed by this villain, so it angrily used the weaving machine to spray spider silk again, trying to put the villain back into the spider silk cocoon. However, unlike the previous smoothness, the deep blue flame in the villain's hand suddenly met the spider silk. At the moment of collision, the spider silk was burned to ashes and fell to the ground. Because the spider silk was sprayed from the giant spider's abdominal weaving machine, the flame burned all the way up along the extended spider silk. Everything turned to ashes. This feeling of being out of control made the giant spider panic. It immediately broke the spider silk that was being burned by the flames and jumped directly to the big tree next to it, looking down at Wen Jiu on the ground. Wen Jiu stood on the ground coldly, staring at the giant spider on the tree without fear. Then, the giant spider quickly wove a huge web and attacked Wen Jiu fiercely. She smiled and dodged, stepping on the big tree where the giant spider lived. The gorgeous deep blue flames ignited from under the tree and rushed up like a python. The ashes and sparks fell, shining and charming like stars in the dark night. The giant spider was forced to change the tree to live before the flames caught up, and the original tree fell down with a bang, splashing countless dust. In the flying dust, Wen Jiu still stood on the ground with a smile. The dazzling firelight outlined her petite figure, and the white gold hair fluttered in the breeze, revealing the long pointed earlobes hidden between the hair. The positions of hunter and prey finally changed. Seeing Wen Jiu's flames light up again, the giant spider decisively spitted a mouthful of emerald green venom at her. Unfortunately, its speed was still too slow. Wen Jiu dodged it with a sliding step, pulled out the thin rope from her waist, and jumped onto the big tree where it lived. Before the giant spider could escape again, she jumped up neatly and threw out the thin rope to tie up one of the giant spider's legs. The strength that the giant spider originally thought was a mantis trying to stop a chariot became extremely strong at this time. After being tied up, Wen Jiu fell straight from midair to the ground, and the giant spider, which could not escape, had to fall with her. A huge deep pit was smashed directly on the ground. Before it stood up again from the ground, countless vines suddenly flew over and tied it up in an instant like a hairy crab about to be cooked in a pot. Then, a blazing flame directly hit one of its big green eyes, and the rotten juice immediately flew across the air. The intense pain almost drove the giant spider crazy. It twisted its body and 8 legs, and struggled frantically on the ground. Unfortunately, what awaited it was another flame, which hit its tentacles directly this time, and the stench of burning filled the air. Why is there still no signal? Uruman stared at the light screen panel anxiously. It was already early in the morning, but they did not receive the positioning signal from the bracelet. Report to Director Yu. In addition to the signals of all students, the teachers and soldiers who entered the Dianui forest to search have also lost the positioning signal. We have contacted and communicated 10 minutes ago, but have not received a reply. Report to the college management immediately. Uruman anxiously directed her teachers. The training ended at dawn today, but in fact they sent teachers to find students based on the positioning signal of the crystal bracelet half an hour ago. She should have known that something was wrong. In the 10 days since the students entered the Dianui forest, no one had taken the initiative to crush the crystal to apply for withdrawal. They thought that this group of students was particularly perseverant, but now it seems that things are not what they expected. Director Yu, I think we can apply for military support. Zhang Heling hurried into the tent with a deep look on his face. I suspect that there are interstellar beasts of level 4 or above outside the Dianui forest. The Federation currently divides interstellar beasts into 10 levels. When interstellar beasts reach level 4, there is a certain probability that they will have the ability to interfere with signals. This is why there are commanders in military operations. When the signal is useless, they can only rely on the commander's mental connection to command. Teacher Zhang, I can understand your current mood. A middle-aged teacher followed Zhang Heling in, but what you said is unfounded. What if it brings a bad impact to the college? The middle-aged teacher was right. If there were interstellar beasts of level 4 or above outside the Dianui forest, those students who were training here would have been wiped out long ago, and it would also involve serious problems such as the failure of the garrison military district to fulfill their responsibilities. What do you mean by without evidence? The signal has all disappeared. Isn't that enough to prove something? Zhang Heling was a burly man. When he jumped up, He was more than a head taller than the middle-aged teacher. The man was so scared that he shrank his neck and stopped talking. Okay, stop arguing. Yu Ruman pinched her eyebrows and sighed. Apply for military assistance immediately. Teacher Zhang, go to the army and bring a group of soldiers to find the students. In order to ensure the safety of each field training, the 11th Military Region stationed on Planet 3047 will send people to accompany them. What's more, the inner circle of Danyi Forest has certain special features. There are people from the 11th Military Region stationed outside. The situation was consistent with Zhang Heling's expectations. The moment they entered Danyi Forest, the signal tracking was disconnected. The message could not be sent out, and they could only search inside like headless flies. Thousands of students, it's impossible for all of them to disappear at the same time. However, as they thought, these thousands of students disappeared without a trace, as if they had evaporated from the face of the earth. Teacher Zhang, you are coming in too? Zhao Sen looked at Zhang Heling with some mixed feelings. He had come in first with Adjutant Wang, who was stationed here. As a result, he searched for more than half an hour, but did not find a single student. Instead, he found Zhang Heling's team, who came later. Well, Director Yu has already applied for support from the military region. Zhang Heling glanced at Zhao Sen's team. The teachers and soldiers were all there, but there was no student. Didn't you find any? Zhao Sen shook his head embarrassedly. They really didn't find the whereabouts of any students. Just when they were at a loss, a strong energy fluctuation suddenly came from the depths of the forest, successfully attracting their attention. Let's go. No matter what caused the energy fluctuation, they came here to find students on the one hand, and to find the abnormality of Danyi Forest on the other hand. It's just ahead. Zhao Sen and Zhang Heling walked side by side. They had already anticipated the worst guess. There really was a 4th level or higher interstellar beast outside Danyi Forest. However, when they hurried to the center of the energy fluctuation, they only saw a giant spider that was constantly burning. Only 2 of its 4 green giant eyes remained, staring at their direction. Its legs were scattered all over the ground, leaving only its huge body burning in the dark blue flames in the center of the ground. The thick black smoke with a foul smell made people feel sick. Is there a student over there? Adjutant Wang soon saw the thin figure in front of the giant spider. After finally finding the surviving student, they quickly took out their weapons and marched towards the figure while on guard. That seems to be my student. Zhao Sen saw the thin figure clearly in the light of the fire and was a little unsure. Just as they were about to get close, the man finally turned around. Her short platinum hair fluttered in the wind, and she held a long rope stained with bright red blood in her hand, with a cold expression. Wen Jiu. Zhao Sen and Zhang Heling's voices came out at the same time. Perhaps the voice was familiar, and the silver in Wen Jiu's eyes finally began to fade at this moment. She slowly closed her eyes and fell down. Today's 3 updates have all been delivered. Please check them in time. I hope all the little angels can vote. Check in and comment. Thank you to every little angel who cast a monthly ticket and a recommendation ticket. At the same time, thank you to the little angels who clicked on the collection, insisted on checking in, and making comments. 030. Welcome every new little cutie. Remember to collect, it would be the best if you can vote, check in, or comment equals W equals number. The daily words are all typed by the little author. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Another point is that the plotline of this book is also quite long, and there are many foreshadowings. Sometimes you can point out where you see something strange, and the little author will answer them one by one. But if it involves foreshadowings, please be patient and read on. Thank you. 030. Chapter 81. Free Hospitalization 1. The name of the patient in the A01 medical cabin is Wen Jiu. Zhu Wangming tapped the light screen panel to record the value. It is suspected that excessive use of supernatural powers and mental power caused fainting. Unknown reasons have caused the appearance to change. The current gene sequence is disordered, but the vital signs are normal. When Wen Jiu woke up, what came into view was a transparent barrier. The smell of disinfectant was pervasive, and it made her want to sneeze. Wen Jiu blinked in confusion, and she didn't understand why she was lying here. But she soon reacted, raised her hand, that was still attached to various unknown catheters, and began to slap the barrier frantically. The sudden slapping sound successfully attracted the attention of everyone in the medical room. The attending physician Zhu Wangming immediately clicked on the light screen panel that detected Wen Jiu's vital signs, and only pressed the button to open the cabin door after confirming her physical condition. First, a burst of white mist drifted from it, and then a shout came from inside. "Why did you send me to the medical cabin? I have no money. I really have no money." Everyone was ashamed to hear this, but Zhu Wangming was the first to react and said, "Don't shout, this medical service is free." After hearing Zhu Wangming's words, Wen Jiu was freed from the fear of having no money, and then she felt the weakness of her body. Although she had never been in a medical cabin before, she would usually hear Kaioshishi and others mention that it would cost at least a few thousand to tens of thousands of star coins to lie down once. But since it's free, she will lie down for a while. Thinking of this, Wen Jiu immediately lay down in the cabin properly. Xiaoli, go and inform Director Yu of the 3047 Academy that the patient Wen Jiu has woken up. Wen Jiu lay in the medical cabin and stared at the ceiling in a daze, always feeling a buzzing pain in her head. She seemed to have forgotten something and only remembered that she seemed to have been made into a cocoon by the giant spider with spider silk. She couldn't remember what happened after that. "Since you're awake, go back to the ward for observation." Zhu Wangming walked to the front of the A01 medical cabin. "Don't lie down. You'll be charged if you lie down again." Hearing this, Wen Jiu immediately sat up. The various catheters that were originally attached to her body fell off automatically the moment she stood up. Zhu Wangming waved his hand, and a young round-faced nurse came over with a smile. Wen Jiu followed her out of the infirmary obediently, and then walked into a single ward after turning around. "Miss Wen, your daily necessities are all ready. If you have any other needs, you can press the call bell at the head of the bed." After giving the instructions, the round-faced nurse walked out of the ward and did not forget to help her close the door. Wen Jiu glanced around. Although the space here is not large, it is bright and tidy. She opened a closet and took out a set of hospital gowns. Perhaps because the previous situation was too urgent, she didn't even change her clothes when she was sent to the medical cabin, and her clothes were stained with blood. Fortunately, the ward had its own washroom, so Wen Jiu could take a hot shower after a long absence. She stood under the shower in a trance, letting the warm water wet her short hair, and the hot steam kept drifting away. On the way to the ward earlier, the round-faced nurse told her a lot about this training. First of all, there was the giant spider that suddenly appeared. After confirmation by the military district, it was almost up to the standard of a 4th level interstellar beast. Perhaps because of its growth method of absorbing the vitality of other creatures, it has learned the skill of jamming signals in advance. However, I heard that the military district is still investigating the specific reasons, and it can also use venom to infect other creatures. Those students who turned into deformed monsters accidentally ate mushrooms infected by venom, which led to the mutation. Before the training began, the 3047 Academy sent people to search the periphery of Danyi Forest several times to ensure that the training was carried out smoothly, but no trace of the giant spider was found. Some people speculated that it used the regional jamming signal to hide in the periphery near the inner circle to survive, until later it discovered a group of lively students, which allowed it to crawl out. Although the teachers and soldiers who came to support them later cut all the students out of the cocoon, many students still died because they were drained of too much vitality. There were originally more than 4,000 freshmen in this class, but now there are less than 1,000 left. It can be said that this is the most serious casualties in the history of field survival training. Wen Jiu had never thought of such a tragic ending. She had not come back to her senses until the end of the bath. She stood in front of the mirror and took the towel to dry herself blankly. She was immediately startled by the figure reflected in the mirror. Wen Jiu leaned in front of the mirror and raised her hand to wipe the mirror surface blurred by the mist. Her face was clearly reflected on it. The originally round and small ears seemed to have been deliberately pinched and lengthened, resembling the elf-pointed ears she had seen in the movies. The snow white and neat teeth suddenly had 2 more fangs, and even when she was not smiling, a little tip could be revealed from the lips. Damn, did I have plastic surgery? The first reaction of the poor Wen Jiu, after being shocked, was, does this plastic surgery cost money? But it seems that these ears and teeth cannot be achieved by plastic surgery alone, and there are no other changes. So she quickly wiped herself clean and put on the hospital gown, then walked to the bed and pressed the call bell to ask. While the nurse was not here yet, Wen Jiu suddenly got into the bed. The soft quilt exuded a dry and fluffy sweet fragrance. The sun shone lazily on her body, making her feel extremely relaxed physically and mentally. After waiting for a few minutes without seeing the nurse come, Wen Jiu simply opened her Ziggy panel to search for what was going on. But after she opened the panel, countless messages popped up instantly, shocking Wen Jiu's eyes. She didn't know many people. Where did so many messages come from? Wen Jiu looked at the list of 99 plus messages and clicked on one at random. Bakaliv broadcast. Dear Anchor Gangxi Fake. Hello. You haven't live streamed for more than 3 days. Your fans miss you. Bakaliv broadcast. Dear Anchor Gangxi Fake. Hello. You haven't live streamed for more than 10 days. Your fans miss you. It seems that these are all meaningless messages. Wen Jiu scrolled down boredly. Bakaliv broadcast. Dear Anchor Gangxi Fake. Hello. Editor Lulu wants to sign a contract with you. Please click here to add a friend for detailed chat. This message made Wen Jiu excited, and she quickly clicked to add a friend. Bakalulu, oh my god, I finally contacted you. Jaya Kwangua 9, hello, I want to ask what the contract means. Lulu looked at the message Gangxi Fake replied, and excitedly slapped her desk and stood up, attracting puzzled looks from colleagues around her. After the excitement, she quickly sat back in her office chair and quickly typed on the light screen panel. Bakalulu, hello, Sister Fake, I'm Lulu, the editor of Bakaliv. I saw in the background that your data has reached the contract standard of our company, and after watching the live broadcast of you making golden egg fried rice, I think you are a very promising new anchor. I wonder if you are willing to sign a contract with our company? Lulu stared at the light screen panel nervously. She had noticed Gangxi Fake, the little newcomer, a long time ago. As editors of Bakaliv, their daily task is to find potential newcomers with qualified data in the background of unsigned people to cultivate. But not every newcomer is worth signing and cultivating. Although some people's data meet the standards, their live broadcast content is not suitable for long-term broadcasting. Some people's data looks good, but if you look closely, you can see traces of their data brushing. So it is not an easy task to find a newcomer suitable for signing and cultivating. Moreover, in such a competitive environment, few people can stand out from the new anchors. This is also the case for her, an editor who has been in the industry for less than a year. It is not her turn to be responsible for good anchors, and she can't find those worth cultivating. After a long period of ups and downs, she only signed a few small anchors with decent data. Seeing that her indicators for this month were about to fall to the bottom again, she began to look for new people to train on various platforms. Hard work pays off, and she successfully discovered this anchor named Gangxi Fake from the Gourmet Monkey Brother. Today's first update, please vote as usual. Please vote, check in and comment. Thank you to the little angels who sent monthly tickets and recommendation tickets, and thank you to the little angels who clicked on the collection, insisted on checking in, and posting comments. Thank you for your support. 030 at the same time. Welcome the new little cuties. Remember to collect, and it would be better to vote, or check in and comment. Mumbling, there will be a burst of updates tomorrow. After tomorrow, there will be 3 updates per day, 1 update of 2000 words, and if there are special circumstances, additional updates will be made as appropriate. 030. The following thanks to the little angels who gave rewards yesterday. Thank you to the little angel Wansheng for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Wansheng, small account, for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Suai for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Do You Want to Eat Ice Cream? No to carrot_carrot for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Deg.Euro England for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Coffee for the reward. The following thanks to the little angels who voted for the monthly tickets yesterday. Thank you Chenshin for the 2 monthly tickets. Thanks to Bookfriend. 2021032022274034 for voting for a monthly ticket. Thanks to SUI for voting for 2 monthly tickets. Thanks to Heartlock for voting for a monthly ticket. Thanks to Mengayu for voting for a monthly ticket. Thanks to LUO for voting for a monthly ticket. Bayo, I can't type your name cack. Thanks to Yaozizaju for voting for 2 monthly tickets. Thanks to Kaif for voting for 8 monthly tickets. Thanks to Shilashinj for voting for a monthly ticket. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Free Hospitalization 2. At first, she just looked through the article that Monkey Brother strongly recommended Gongzi Fake out of curiosity. It must be said that judging from the holographic picture alone, the tender and juicy fried chicken and the golden fried rice are all extremely tempting. In order to confirm that this is not an advertisement or image fraud, Lulu specially searched for Gongzi Fake's data in the background. You don't know until you see it. After a few days of broadcasting, Gongzi Fake's data has already exceeded the contract quota. Later, she wanted to watch Gongzi Fake's live broadcast replay, but unfortunately the other party did not set the automatic saving of live broadcast recordings, so she could only wait patiently until the other party started broadcasting at night. However, she was lucky enough to see Wen Jiu's last live broadcast before participating in the wilderness survival training. When she clicked in, the huge tearful cat head made her wonder for a moment if she had gone to the wrong place. But later, she saw Gongzi Fake began to skillfully cut and fry vegetables, and the strange aroma that came towards her. Lulu knew immediately that she had found the potential stock. Thanks to the editor's exclusive privilege, she automatically occupied a tasting seat and tasted the oily and shiny golden egg fried rice. The plump rice grains are piled up like golden clouds, and the eggs are tender and fresh with the fragrance of chopped green onions. It brings a rich and overbearing taste bud experience, full of fragrance. It makes her feel like swimming in a golden rice field. The moment she ate this golden egg fried rice, Lulu made up her mind that she must sign this Gongzi Fake. Woman, you can't escape from my palm. Thinking of this, Lulu, who was still chewing the golden egg fried rice, decisively sent Gongzi Fake a signing invitation. Well, seeing that the other party is still busy with the live broadcast, it is normal that he didn't reply. So Lulu continued to eat the golden egg fried rice without panic, fantasizing that after she signed Gongzi Fake, not only can she really get rich, but she can also eat this delicacy every day with the editor's privileges. Just thinking about it makes her happy. However, it is different from what she expected. She waited and waited. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days passed. Gongzi Fake didn't even say a word, and even the live broadcast was gone. Lulu was so scared that she quickly found Gongzi Fake from the backstage contact information, but the friend request she sent out was like a stone sinking into the sea. During the days when Gongzi Fake disappeared, she also went to ask Brother Monkey. But Brother Monkey didn't know what happened to Gongzi Fake. Why did he suddenly disappear? So she joined the money-loving group and continued to wait anxiously with everyone. Until this afternoon, she dozed off in her office chair with no hope in life, and suddenly a message popped up on the light screen panel. Bakaliv, backstage reminder, the anchor Gongzi Fake you invited to sign has added you as a friend. This message made Lulu sober up, even when she was dozing off. She happily opened the friend list and saw the 4 big words Gongzi Fake. So she took the lead in sending a message, and when she saw that Gongzi Fake seemed interested in signing, she began to talk to him. Bakalulu, after signing the contract, the anchor will receive a share of the profit according to the contract, which is higher than the income before signing the contract. In addition, our company has prepared a guaranteed benefit for the signed anchors, which means that, as long as you sign the contract and broadcast for a certain length of time, you can get this guaranteed salary. Bakalulu, for example, before signing the contract, the audience gave the gift of a friendship boat, and the unsigned anchor can only get 20%, which is 1000 star coins. Bakalulu. But after signing the contract, according to the contract share of ordinary signed anchors, you can get 50%, which is 2,500 star coins. Wen Jiu looked at the message sent by Lulu and lay on the bed in deep thought. No wonder she had seen that it cost 5,000 star coins to reward a friendship boat in the reward gift. She was still wondering why she only got so little. It turned out that it was because she had not signed the contract. 9. What is the specific contract of the contract? Can you send it to me first? That's okay. We are now signing electronically, which is very convenient. You only need to click on the link I sent you, and you can see the contract prepared for you. The detailed contract is all on it. Wen Jiu clicked on the link sent by Lulu, and instantly jumped to the anchor backstage of, and then there was the contract that Lulu said. It seems that it is indeed a regular editor, not an online scammer. She carefully read through the more than 10 pages of the contract, and also had a clear understanding of the contract. This contract was drafted according to her current anchor star level of 2 stars. According to the rules of, a 2-star anchor can get a guaranteed salary of 4,000 star coins if he reaches 120 hours of live broadcast time per month. The reward share is indeed as Lulu said, and she can get 50% of it. And as a star level increases, the guaranteed salary and share will increase accordingly. It's just that the initial contract is signed for 1 year, and the contract can only be renewed according to the star level reached later. When the contract is renewed, Bakaliv divides the anchor level into 1 to 10 stars. All unsigned live broadcasts are 1 star. Upgrading to 2 stars means that the data standard for signing has been reached. The highest can be upgraded to 10 stars, which means becoming the top anchor of Bakaliv, and it also means reaching the ceiling of the Star Network live broadcast industry. After all, Bakaliv is a very famous large-scale live broadcast platform in Star Network. This contract seems to have no problems, but Wen Jiu has a small problem. Family wealth 9. I have read the contract, but I have a question. Bakalulu, I can answer any questions for you. Lulu thinks that Gongzi Farke should not have any problems. The benefits that Bakaliv offers to new anchors are very good. Other platforms do not have a guaranteed salary. And according to her understanding of the wealth-loving group that she has been lurking for many days, Gongzi Farke is a middle-aged man with financial difficulties. He has to work in the cafeteria and cook every day. He started live broadcasting to supplement his family income. So Lulu was very confident in the contract she had made. No one knew how to cultivate new anchors better than her. Until the next second, a piece of latest news popped up on the light screen panel. 9. I'm a minor. Can I sign this contract? 9. I just checked federal law, and it seems that child labor cannot be employed. Today's second update. The list of thanks in the previous chapter is a little long, and the little angels have worked hard to turn the pages. I still hope that everyone can vote more. It would be even better if you can check in and comment after receiving everyone's support every day. The little author is full of motivation. Yeah, thank you to every little angel who loves and supports this book. Every time you reward, vote, collect, check in and comment, it is a great encouragement to the little author. 030 at the same time. Welcome every new little cutie. Welcome to join the PIT equals W equals. Chapter 83 Free Hospitalization 3. Lulu was stunned by the new message from Gongzi Farke. What is a minor? Who is a minor? This message confused her. Isn't Gongzi Farke a middle-aged man from a poor family? However, she did not answer Ashley, but quickly clicked on the background to check the Xinguang account information when Gongzi Farke registered. Only then did she know that Gongzi Farke was really a minor. This bolt from the blue made Lulu very uncomfortable. She thought she had picked up a good seedling and could cultivate it. The seedling is indeed a good seedling, but the seedling is too young. Bakalulu, wait for me for a moment. I'll go ask the leader here. After sending this message, Lulu's mood was ups and downs. She naturally knew the provisions of the federal law that prohibited the employment of minors. But she still didn't want to give up. What if there was a way to sign Gongzi Farke? So after replying, she hurried to the office of her superior to ask for instructions. At this time, on the other side, Wen Jiu was lying in the soft quilt, almost falling asleep. But suddenly there was a sound of footsteps outside the door. Hearing the sound, Wen Jiu sat up sleepily, hugged a pillow, and looked at the door. "This is a ward." Zhu Wangming's voice sounded outside the door. The next second, he pushed open the door and walked in, followed by 3 serious looking people. When Jiu looked up, she only knew one of these people. "Wen Jiu, how do you feel now?" Yu Rumen was still charming, smiling, and walked to the bedside and took Wen Jiu's hand. "Very good." When Jiu buried her head in the pillow, she wanted to sleep. Ahem. Zhu Wangming reminded at the right time. "This is Lieutenant Liang of the 11th Military Region, and the other one is Ms. Huang, the Dean of your 3047 Academy." After hearing his words, Wen Jiu looked up at the other two again. A tall man in a dark purple military uniform with a stern face. Judging from his bone structure, he is about 35 years old, so it should be Lieutenant Liang. The other middle-aged lady was somewhat plump, with a friendly smile on her face. She was wearing a red uniform with the emblem of the 3047 Academy on her chest. "Hello, Lieutenant Liang." "Hello, Dean Huang." Wen Jiu's voice was crisp, and his grey-blue eyes were filled with water, just like a naive and well-behaved little beast. After that, Huang Qiumei came forward with her full affinity, and said softly to Wen Jiu, "Hello, classmate Wen Jiu. I'm sorry to disturb your rest on our first meeting." Seeing that she was friendly, Wen Jiu responded to her with the same friendly attitude. However, Lieutenant Liang's face was always not good. He interrupted Huang Qiumei and Wen Jiu's courtesy in a cold voice. "Classmate Wen Jiu, I'm here to investigate the Dianui Forest incident on behalf of the 11th Military Region. According to the reports of witnesses, you were the only student who was not bound by the spider silk cocoon and remained awake at the time. So I want to know from you what happened in the Dianui Forest before the search and rescue team arrived." As expected, they came to investigate. Wen Jiu sighed in his heart. But it was useless to ask her, because she just seemed to have drunk too much and had no memory. However, Wen Jiu did not show it on his face, and he still told what he remembered obediently. After listening to Wen Jiu's recollection, everyone showed some strange expressions. Huang Qiumei couldn't help but show disappointment, while Lieutenant Liang stared at Wen Jiu with a scrutinizing look. Only Yu Rumen and Zhu Wangming were a little confused at first, but then they turned back to calm. "Student Wen Jiu, it is against federal law to not report it. When you know about it, it will also affect your future graduation performance assessment." Lieutenant Liang, she is only a 12-year-old child. Before Wen Jiu could speak, Yu Rumen took the lead to refute. "Don't use that trick to threaten my students." But Lieutenant Liang ignored her and walked towards the bed. Yu Rumen stood up directly, with cold eyes. Seeing that the two were on the verge of a fight, Zhu Wangming raised his glasses and immediately said, "Wen Jiu has not recovered yet, and I did detect that there is a gap in her memory area." Then there was a silence. However, since Zhu Wangming, Wen Jiu's attending physician, said so, Lieutenant Liang couldn't say anything more. He left the ward after saying that he would send someone to investigate Wen Jiu. After Lieutenant Liang left, Zhu Wangming left on the pretext of checking other students. Only Yu Rumen and Huang Qiumei were left in the ward. "Don't worry, it's just that something is strange about Dianui Forest, so the military district sent someone to investigate." Yu Rumen regained her gentle smile and sat by the bed. In fact, it's not the fault of the military district that the people were nervous about this matter. The main reason was that after the search and rescue team entered, they were ready to fight a battle with the interstellar monster. As a result, the giant spider had already died, and the death was extremely tragic. Someone else saw that Wen Jiu was the only student who was not bound by the spider silk cocoon and was awake. But her ability was not enough to kill this interstellar beast close to the 4th level, so many people speculated behind the scenes whether a mysterious person had entered the Dianui Forest without the knowledge of the military district. You know, although the outer periphery of the Dianui Forest can be used as a training ground, there are very rare mineral resources in the inner periphery. Planet 3047 is originally a low-level planet, and its agriculture and industry are not very good. It is only because of its unique mineral resources that it has barely avoided becoming a garbage planet. But there are not many mineral resources on planet 3047. In addition to the mineral sources in the inner periphery of the Dianyi forest, there are only 3 mineral sources left to be mined. If a mysterious person really sneaked into the Dianyi forest, then the investigation would be considered as the military district's poor supervision. This kind of crime is not something that ordinary people can bear. That's why Lieutenant Liang was so anxious to know what happened at that time. They questioned every student who woke up, but those students couldn't explain it. Either they only remembered that they were chased by monsters, or they remembered that they were made into spider silk cocoons. This made them pin their hopes on Wen Jiu, the only sober person at the scene. Unfortunately, they didn't know that Wen Jiu really didn't remember what happened at that time. Dr. Zhu said that your body needs to rest for a few more days. Yu Rumen stuffed Wen Jiu into the bed and even covered her tightly with the quilt. You don't have to think too much about the rest. The college will not let you bear any responsibilities that you shouldn't bear. Huang Qiumei next to her nodded in agreement. Yes, the college will not impose any responsibilities on you. After she finished speaking, she paused again, and then continued. Student Wen Jiu, I have another thing to inform you this time. After the college management held a meeting and discussed, it was unanimously decided to waive your tuition. And we will also issue a certain amount of scholarships, based on your outstanding performance this time. Although it is still unclear what the relationship between the dead giant spider and Wen Jiu is, according to the feedback from other students, Wen Jiu's performance in this training is the most outstanding. Upon hearing about the scholarship, Wen Jiu, who was still a little sleepy, sat up instantly and asked with shining eyes, "Excuse me, I want to ask, how much is this scholarship?" She stood up suddenly, and her hair fluttered, revealing her pointed ears. Yu Rumen and Huang Qiumei had already learned from Zhu Wangming that Wen Jiu's appearance had undergone a slight change, and naturally knew that she had grown fangs and her ears had become pointed. But suddenly seeing these pointed ears still brought them a little shock. Oh, today's 3 updates are all delivered. Please check warm reminder from the little author. There will be a burst of updates when it goes on sale tomorrow. Hehe, after that, there will be 3 updates per day, 1 update of 2000 words, and if there are special circumstances, more updates will be added as appropriate. 030 Thank you to every little angel who has accompanied the little author's growth all the way at the same time. Thank you to every little angel who loves this book. I really thank you very much for your support and encouragement. Chapter 84 Free Hospitalization 4. Seeing them stunned, Wen Jiu realized that her strange ears were exposed. But she never cared much about her appearance. She just raised her hand to lift her hair so that Yu Rumen and Huang Qiumei could see it clearly. New technology, fully automatic plastic surgery. Elf ears are a must for internet celebrities. Wen Jiu blinked his big eyes. His face was not red, and his heart was not beating. How is it? It's not bad, right? This made Yu Rumen, who was originally worried that Wen Jiu would not accept it, smile. It seems that her worries were unnecessary. Moreover, after being interrupted by Wen Jiu, the originally serious atmosphere became relaxed. What do you mean by fully automatic plastic surgery? You Rumen considered the words before continuing. You are a temporary abnormality caused by some reason. Dr. Zhu will tell you in detail later. Hearing this, Wen Jiu nodded obediently. Don't worry, the scholarship will not be missing you. Huang Qiumei covered her mouth and chuckled. Wen Jiu classmate, do you have any other questions? She was just asking casually, but she didn't expect Wen Jiu to really ask questions. I want to ask if the distribution of food ingredients in the canteen is determined according to the needs of each window, or is it distributed as the teacher in charge wants? After hearing her question, Huang Qiumei answered it immediately. Generally speaking, it is determined according to the needs of the window. Speaking of the canteen, the college has also decided to increase your school security fund for poor students, so you don't have to work in the canteen anymore. This won't work. She still hopes to continue to make money from the canteen by cooking and live streaming. Wen Jiu will not let go of such a thing as making 2 times the money in one time. I don't need the school security fund. I love my work and my work loves me. Wen Jiu's tone was very sincere, and Huang Qiumei almost believed her lies. I hope the dean can let me continue to work in the canteen. My wish is to let every student eat hot meals. Then let her make a lot of money. After a verbal tug-of-war, Wen Jiu continued to stay in the canteen and had the power to choose ingredients and apply for a kitchen robot. Of course, Wen Jiu will not forget the trouble that Shi Gang and his gang brought her. Dean Huang, there is one more thing I hope you can handle. Wen Jiu pointed out the evidence he had recorded in his wisdom ring. There were many recordings of Mr. Zhang, who was responsible for distributing food, deliberately targeting window number 18, as well as the video of Shi Gang and others looking for trouble. After Huang Qiumui read it, her originally gentle expression gradually became serious. Please forward these evidences to me, and I will definitely handle this matter well. After all, there are many people in the 3047 Academy, and not every place can be paid attention to by Huang Qiumui at any time. After Wen Jiu added Huang Qiumui's Star Network account, he quickly passed the evidence to the other party. After the matter was almost resolved, Huang Qiumui and Yu Rumen gave Wen Jiu some more instructions before leaving the ward. After they left, Wen Jiu's sleepiness was not so obvious. So she opened the Star Network again to kill time, but Lulu sent several new messages. Baka Lulu, I went to ask our superiors. According to federal law, it is indeed impossible to sign a contract directly with a minor, but as long as your guardian signs and agrees, our contract can still go ahead. Guardian, Wen Jiu touched her chin and thought about it. Where should she find a guardian? But she soon thought of a candidate. With the help of Yu Rumen, she successfully changed from an illegal household to an orphan, adopted by the 3047 Academy. In this way, Yu Rumen is her guardian. As long as she communicates with Yu Rumen, signing the contract will be a piece of cake. Wen Jiu first replied to Lulu with a message that he knew, and then found Yu Rumen in the contact list. The communication with Yu Rumen was smoother than Wen Jiu had imagined, and the other party quickly agreed to it. It was just that Yu Rumen was a little surprised. She didn't expect Wen Jiu to still do live broadcasts privately. But thinking that this was all Wen Jiu's private matter, she didn't ask much. Seeing that Yu Rumen agreed, Wen Jiu went to tell Lulu, and the three of them formed a small group to communicate and sign the contract. Editor Lulu, is this Miss Wen's mother? After Lulu checked Gong Zifake's Xinguang account information in the background, she not only knew his real age, but also knew that Gong Zifake's name was Wenx. Seeing that the other party had found a guardian, she subconsciously thought that this person was Gong Zifake's mother. 3047 Yu Rumen, yes, the guardian, Miss Wen is a student of our college. Although it can be found out that Wen Jiu is an adopted orphan with a careful investigation, Yu Rumen is not willing to publicize this kind of thing. Editor Lulu, okay, sorry. In fact, today is just a review of the contract. If Wen Jiu has no objection to the contract, he can sign it immediately. Then Lulu will go through the background procedures, and the icon of the signed anchor will be posted to Wen Jiu the next day. However, Wen Jiu has already read the contract once before, and now only needs her guardian Yu Rumen to read and sign it, and then Wen Jiu will sign it, and the contract will be settled. Editor Lulu, thank you Miss Wen for your trust in me. The backend will automatically go through the process. The icon of the contracted anchor should be posted tomorrow. Editor Lulu, there is one more thing. I will arrange a push of the newcomer list in the food area according to the contract benefits. When is your next broadcast expected? Wen Jiu lay on the bed and thought for a moment. She didn't know when she would be discharged from the hospital. Family Wealth 9, I will send you a message the day before the broadcast. I have some things to do now and can't broadcast. After the communication was completed, Wen Jiu closed the dialog box. It was just dinner time, and she was already hungry. The round-faced nurse who brought her to the ward earlier came in with a small cart full of instruments and utensils. Wen Jiu was a little dizzy because he had just come out of the medical cabin. So now he found that the nurse had a name tag on her chest with the other person's name on it. Sister Zhao, when can we have dinner? Hearing this, Zhao Zai took out a bottle of nutrient solution from the second layer of the cart with a smile, knocked open the bottle mouth, and handed it to Wen Jiu. It was indeed a nutrient solution. Wen Jiu's upturned mouth corners instantly collapsed, and he reluctantly took the nutrient solution and swallowed it. A strange feeling of fullness immediately filled her senses. But she still wanted to eat some real food, but unfortunately there didn't seem to be any here. I'll do a simple test for you here, to ensure your physical condition. Zhao Zai took out an instrument that looked like a modern mobile phone, then pulled out the small square piece on the top of the instrument, and stuck it on Wen Jiu's forehead and arm in turn. With a ding-dong sound, Wen Jiu felt a little numb where the small square was stuck. At the same time, Zhao Zai stared at the instrument in her hand intently to check the data. Chapter 85 Free Hospitalization 5. It's a bit strange. Zhao Zai frowned as she watched the values continue to soar. When Wen Jiu was still in the medical cabin, the various values detected were always below the healthy level. This is also the reason why she still needs to be observed in the hospital after she wakes up. But now Zhao Zai used a small instrument to detect Wen Jiu, which was actually far beyond the healthy level. Call Dr. Zhu to come towards 602. This situation was beyond Zhao Zai's ability to solve, so she could only find Zhu Wangming. Zhu Wangming was originally checking the conditions of other students in the medical room, but after receiving the call, he immediately came towards 602. Let me see. After Zhu Wangming came, he took the instrument used to test Wen Jiu, and the value continued to rise. He had never encountered such a situation before. However, his years of medical practice were not in vain. Zhu Wangming immediately asked Zhao Zai to bring a new instrument and use the electronic panel to call up Wen Jiu's previous numerical records. According to the intelligent synchronization of the patient's medical record, a curve chart was quickly converted on the electronic panel. Wen Jiu turned over from the bed and landed on the ground. He curiously approached Zhu Wangming to look at the electronic panel in his hand. You can see that the rightmost position is marked with a green icon, and her value curve has been fluctuating under the green icon until the test just now. Then it suddenly soared to the green icon, and even exceeded it by a large margin. In your case, Zhu Wangming raised his glasses slightly and glanced at Wen Jiu, who was more than a head shorter than him. It seems that you have to lie in the medical cabin again. Hearing this, Wen Jiu jumped half a meter away in fright. That's not necessary. Why do we have to rely on the medical cabin for things that can be solved by recuperation? And she felt that she was much better now, but she was still a little weak. There was no need to waste money to lie in the medical cabin. If she was not afraid of the doctor's suspicion, Wen Jiu would even want to treat herself. Just kidding. Try this instrument again. Zhu Wangming took the new instrument handed by Zhao Zai and motioned Wen Jiu to lie back on the bed. After the retest, although the value did not soar as sharply as before, it still did not drop to a healthy level. Could it be because I drank the nutrient solution during the test? When Jiu thought about it, it seemed that she didn't do anything else except drinking the nutrient solution. Do you think the instrument will not automatically eliminate the nutrients added by the nutrient solution? Zhu Wangming was a little speechless. Stay in the hospital for observation first. I will adjust the formula of the nutrient solution for you later. When Jiu only then knew that the nutrient solution she drank was specially customized. Suddenly, she felt that drinking the nutrient solution was not so uncomfortable. After sending Zhu Wangming and Zhao Zai away, she went back to the soft bed. She glanced at the message list. Kyo Shishi and others sent her condolences. According to the message, they all woke up earlier than she did and had already been discharged from the hospital and returned to the college. It was at this time that when Jiu realized that she had been in a coma for a full 7 days. In addition to the 10 days of field training, it means that she has not logged onto the Bikaliv broadcast to post updates for 17 days. So she clicked on the Bikaliv broadcast and started browsing her updates. Under the last update she sent about the trick of steaming rice, there were more than 10,000 comments. The most popular one was posted by Big Brother Monkey. Big Brother Monkey, a large sum of money is spent to find Sister Farke, and even the money lovers are crying with hunger. There are all kinds of strange replies in the building. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Today is the 9th day since Sister Farke disappeared, and I have lost 10 pounds due to hunger. Pumpkin Big Guanan, now, do you want to know how to lose weight quickly? Just click on the top of the screen to follow the anchor and then become a money lover and you can lose weight in 10 days. I'm so hungry. Thank you for the recommendation above. The child is only £5 including the child and the box. After quickly browsing a few comments, Wen Jiu quickly uploaded a new update. Congratulations on your wealth. Hello everyone. I'm the anchor. Congratulations on your wealth. I have suspended the live broadcast for personal reasons during this period, but it will be resumed soon. Please wait patiently. After posting the update, Wen Jiu boarded the Star Network world again after a long absence. It takes mental energy to enter the Star Network world. In her current state, it would be fine if she just went in to have a look around without consuming mental energy to draw talismans and tell fortunes. Because she saved her location automatically when she went offline, she appeared directly at the location after logging on. That is, the stall of the Starlight Night Market. It was a little different from what she remembered. A middle-aged lady with great enthusiasm came to the stall on the left side of her vacant position. As soon as she saw Wen Jiu appear, she greeted him warmly, not paying any attention to her burly virtual image. Wen Jiu also responded politely to her and glanced at what was on the stall. There were a lot of oval products like Coke in a black pot, and she couldn't tell what it was for the time being. So she simply took out her own table and chairs from the virtual space and set them up. Even if she didn't open the business, she could sit and kill some time. It was a pity that her wisdom ring level was too low and there was no real space to store it. If she wanted to use the talismans she drew in reality, she had to use her mental energy to convert them. This is really troublesome. Wen Jiu thought that she would change to a more expensive wisdom ring when her family made more money. Now, the wisdom ring given by the academy is quite good. Wen Jiu originally planned to stay in the Star Network world for a while and then leave the offline, but suddenly an old acquaintance appeared and knocked on her small wooden table. Sunbadeo. Where have you been for so many days? You don't even need to look up. Just by listening to the voice, you know it's the delicate Zhuang Rudi. What's wrong? Do you miss your brother Badeo? Wen Jiu supported his chin with one hand and raised his eyelids to look at the beauty in front of him. Unlike the previous look, wrapped in a red cloak, Zhuang Rudi was wearing a short dress with golden sequins and matched it with a bracelet and necklace made of pure gold. It was because of her extremely beautiful appearance and good figure that she could wear these originally tacky clothes so gorgeously and eye-catchingly. Haha, that's not the case. Zhuang Rudi lifted her curly hair and pretended to be coquettish. I just wanted to chat with you. Unfortunately, Zhuang Rudi always appeared before Wen Jiu left the offline. So Wen Jiu just glanced at her calmly and then said, it seems that you listened to me and moved to a new house. Sure enough, your luck is getting better, but your fortune is still a little bit lacking. If you want to improve it, grow some green plants in the southeast corner of your home, but be careful not to let the green plants wither. After she finished speaking, it was obvious that Zhuang Rudi looked a little dazed. Chapter 86. Everything is okay, but you have to pay first. One. Zhuang Rudi really didn't understand why Sunbadeo could tell her everything without asking anything. Are you a pervert who is obsessed with me? Zhuang Rudi asked with a little doubt. However, she only got a roll of the eyes from Wen Jiu. Wen Jiu lazily replied, stop dreaming. Is there anything that I, Sunbadeo, can't predict? In fact, there is. Wen Jiu will not predict his own affairs. As the saying goes, a doctor does not treat himself, and a fortune teller does not tell his own fortune. Humph. Zhuang Rudi completely gave up pretending, crossed her legs, and sat on another chair. That's it. However, Wen Jiu's calculations were indeed very accurate, but Zhuang Rudi didn't want to admit it. At that time, after Wen Jiu took the lead in logging off, Zhuang Rudi also left the Star Network world and returned to reality. At first, she didn't care about what Wen Jiu said. After all, she was not a superstitious person. However, just 2 days later, she lost a lot of property inexplicably in reality again, and her life was almost in danger. In panic, Zhuang Rudi remembered what Wen Jiu said. So she followed Wen Jiu's words and found a new home in a community in the southeast. She also donated more than half of the property she had cheated over the years to a charity foundation. After doing all this, the bad luck that had been entangled with her gradually disappeared. Not only did she no longer lose her property for no reason, but she also no longer encountered various bizarre misfortunes. And her luck seemed to be getting better. Just 2 days ago, when she was shopping with her bestie, she met a scout from one of the 3 major entertainment agencies in the Federation. The other party took a liking to her at first sight and exchanged Star Network accounts with her. But Zuan Rudy was always a little depressed because of her previous bad luck, so she wanted to come to the Starlight Night Market to find Sun Badao to tell her fortune again. Unexpectedly, she didn't see Sun Badao for several days in a row, and she didn't even catch a shadow. Now that she finally found Sun Badao, she didn't know how to start. After all, she had vowed before that she would not be a superstitious person. As a result, it smelled really good. It's not that she is really superstitious, but mainly believes in Sun Badao. You've run into trouble again, haven't you? When Jiu finally spoke first, she had no choice but to log off and go to sleep. Zuan Rudy pursed her red lips and nodded. It's not a big problem, just a little problem. Well, I'm just confused about the future and worried about whether my decision will end badly, so I hesitated and wanted to have a fortune teller. When Jiu revealed Zuan Rudy's thoughts in one sentence, which shocked her again. Okay, I'll tell you now. Zuan Rudy didn't expect Wen Jiu to see through her thoughts without even doing anything. So Zuan Rudy told her exactly what had happened in the past few days. After listening to this, Wen Jiu tapped the wooden table with his fingertips and said lazily, I think you should not agree to this, scout. Really? As expected, you also think he is a liar. After I agree to him, he will definitely ask me to teach tuition, modeling fees, etc., and then take the opportunity to squeeze out my money. That's not the case. When Jiu was a little embarrassed, she didn't use her mental power much and didn't tell fortunes, so she couldn't figure out what the scout who contacted Zuan Rudy was like. She mainly saw the other party's current situation from Zuan Rudy's face. You think too much. I just think that you have been swindling too many times before. If you debut, you will definitely be blackmailed and quit the circle. Hearing this, Zuan Rudy's face darkened. After these ups and downs, she almost forgot that she was once a charlatan. That's true, but the entertainment agency will definitely package me before I debut, right? For example, the one who just debuted as the center in a talent show. Didn't he have a lot of negative information exposed before, but the company still washed it clean? No matter what era it is, there is always the entertainment industry. Even in the interstellar space, people can't be stopped from chasing stars. It's just that now the citizens of the Federation not only chase after entertainment stars, but also chase after various military officers with outstanding military exploits. Then it depends on you. I have something to do these 2 days and can't tell fortunes. For your sake. Before Wen Jiu finished speaking, he saw a familiar figure rushing over. Master Sun, I finally found you. Mengiu exclaimed excitedly. Where have you been these days? Wen Jiu stroked his beard and pretended to be profound. I went out for a few days. Have you solved the problem at home? That's right, Mengiu laughed. Just as Master Sun said, my family's business first experienced an economic downturn for a few days, but it didn't take long for the person who did it to be found. After torture, he was the one who betrayed my brother's whereabouts and caused my brother to be assassinated. Mengiu was a little angry when he said this. That person was the confidant cultivated by his mother, but he betrayed them for the sake of profit. However, what made Mengiu admire Wen Jiu the most was not this matter, but the 2 amulets that Wen Jiu gave him. At that time, he didn't care about this kind of superstitious little thing. After giving Lu Yan one, he put the other one into his jacket pocket. But just a few days ago, he took people to capture the villain who betrayed their family. As a result, there were many guards around that person, so the 2 sides fought on the spot. That nasty villain took advantage of the chaos to shoot a poison needle at him. If the amulet in his pocket had not suddenly heated up and made him react, he would have died. After all, after checking, the neurotoxin on the poison needle can kill with one shot. So this incident made Mengiu feel respect for Wen Jiu. No matter what, the amulet saved his life after all. Master Sun, thank you so much. After Mingayu finished speaking, he took out a red velvet banner with a gold thread edge from the virtual space. There were 7 big characters embroidered on it with gold thread. Fortune telling Master Sun Badao. But the font was a little too distorted, like a worm crawling. Wen Jiu carefully identified it for a moment, before recognizing what was embroidered on it. Master Sun, what do you think of this? These 7 big characters were all embroidered by me, not by my friend. Okay, making friends out of nothing. Wen Jiu did not expose him. He took the banner handed over by Mingayu with both hands, and hung it next to the words he wrote. But in this comparison, the 7 words embroidered by Mingayu were really tragic. So when Jiu finally put the banner into the virtual space, it seems that Master Sun likes this banner very much. Mingayu's peach blossom eyes were very clear. In Wen Jiu's opinion, this person was as deceptive as Kingayu. Besides sending the banner, you should have something else, right? Wen Jiu really didn't want to waste time anymore. She just wanted to get out of bed and sleep. There is such a small thing. Mingayu pretended to be innocent. I just want to ask the master, can you give me a few more of your amulets? PS. This chapter does not imply any celebrities. Please do not bring it in. Thank you. I'm still publishing updates, so I didn't have time to write. Please forgive me, little angels. Chapter 87. Everything is okay, but you have to pay first too. Oh, business is coming. Wen Jiu suppressed his joy for the time being, and continued to stroke his beard pretending to be profound. Before, I was destined to be with you, so I gave you 2 amulets. As soon as she finished speaking, she saw Zuan Rudy standing up, and said in a coquettish tone, what about me, Master Sun, are you and I not destined to be together? You are almost there. Wen Jiu raised his hand, and motioned Zuan Rudy to sit down. Mingayu was a little happy to hear this. Could it be that he really had a destiny with such a master? As a result, the next second, his filter of Wen Jiu as a master was shattered to the ground. If you want to continue the destiny, 1 amulet costs 8,888 star coins. It was free before. Why do you have to pay for it now? Master Sun, we are destined to be together. Why don't you give us 2 more? Mingayu's expression was a little stunned. It's not that he can't afford the money, but mainly because he felt that Master Sun treated him a little differently from others before, and he thought that Master Sun really had a destiny with him. However, Master Sun can have a connection with anyone, and it's easy to talk, but you have to pay first. Didn't I say that we had a connection before? Not now. Wen Jiu showed an impatient attitude. This is the price. If you want to buy it, I'll give it to you now. If you don't want to buy it, forget it. Yes, yes. Mingayu scratched his head, thinking that it was better to spend a little money to buy peace of mind. So he immediately opened the light screen panel to transfer money, and then successfully took a talisman. Anyway, Wen Jiu would not run away, so he would buy another one after he used up this one. Okay, I'll leave if there's nothing else. Wen Jiu said as he packed up his business. Seeing Mingayu get the treasure with satisfaction, Zuan Rudy was immediately unhappy. Master Sun, I also want a piece of that talisman. Wen Jiu took back the chair and glanced at her. You can't use it, but I have other talismans here. Do you want to see them? After hearing her words, Zuan Rudy nodded decisively. Then she saw Wen Jiu put a row of yellow paper talismans on the wooden table. Amulets, peach blossom amulets, fortune bringing amulets, house guarding amulets, harmony amulets, and health preventing a disease. Taoist calligraphy is all encompassing, and naturally has a wide variety of amulets. Wen Jiu only drew a few of the amulets that she thought would have a market, and more types of amulets have not yet been drawn. Mingyu and Zuan Rudy were both a little stunned by her introduction, but they soon found the amulets they wanted to buy. Can this health preventing a disease amulet cure my brother directly after using it? I think the fortune bringing amulet is good. How many star coins? Seeing that there was business to be done, Wen Jiu was naturally not in a hurry to leave the offline line, so she patiently began to answer. It's not enough to cure directly, but if you buy it and put it in your brother's room, it can speed up the healing process. The fortune bringing amulet is 6,666 star coins per piece. Let's go for a lucky number. While Wen Jiu was negotiating with them, a few passers-by came over curiously to watch the fun. What are you selling? A talisman for attracting wealth and fortune? Can I get rich if I use this talisman? 1. What is that peach blossom talisman? Can it help me find a boyfriend? Of course, there were also some who came out to argue. It's already the 209th year of Xinjiang. Are there really people who are still obsessed with feudal superstition? Can they wake up a little? It's so funny. If this talisman really worked, why would he still be selling things on the street? However, Wen Jiu ignored these people who were talking nonsense. She was busy counting the money for Mengiu and Zhuang Rudi. Mengiu not only bought a health talisman for curing diseases, but also a talisman for repelling insects and mosquitoes. He was going to take on another academy mission in 2 days, and who knows, this talisman might come in handy. Zhuang Rudi bought a talisman for attracting wealth and fortune, and also took a talisman for protecting the house. People watching the fun kept asking her why she didn't buy a peach blossom talisman. She just smiled charmingly, thinking that men were not as reliable as those who made money herself. Later, Wen Jiu successfully sold 3 peach blossom charms and 2 fortune charms with his sales ability. Today, he successfully earned nearly 50,000 star coins. More and more people came to join in the fun, but Wen Jiu couldn't stand the use of his mental power, so he had to close a store and leave the Star Network world. I can make money, even when I'm lying in the ward. I'm really a genius in making money. Because her body has not yet fully recovered, the drowsiness after using her mental power soon emerged. So Wen Jiu lay down in bed and fell asleep. After waking up the next day, she just finished washing and lay back on the bed and saw Zhao Zaya walk into the ward. Let's measure the values first and then have breakfast today. As she said, Zhao Zaya took out the instrument and began to measure the values for Wen Jiu. Huh, is it really recovering so quickly? Zhao Zaya looked at the values displayed on the instrument and was a little confused. After leaving yesterday, Zhu Wangming speculated that Wen Jiu might have just come out of the medical cabin not long ago, so the values were not stable. As a result, after Zhao Zaya measured again today, Wen Jiu's values were not much different from those measured yesterday. Because she had to report to Zhu Wangming, Zhao Zaya handed the nutrient solution to Wen Jiu and quickly left the ward. There was no other entertainment in the ward, so Wen Jiu could only open the Ziji panel again. Strangely enough, she could feel that her body was still a little weak, but the numerical test showed that her current health level was much higher than the standard value, and her ears suddenly became pointed, and her fangs grew. She first guessed that it might be because the races in the Interstellar era were different. Maybe there were people who showed strange characteristics as they grew up, and she happened to be such a person. But after seeing the reactions of Uruman and Huang Qiumei later, she felt that it was not the case. So Wen Jiu searched casually on the browser with doubts. Questioned what caused the ears to suddenly become pointed. Answer: it should be infected by the toxins of interstellar alien beasts. There is no hope and they will die. Wen Jiu was speechless after seeing this answer, and she changed the question to search. Question: what caused the sudden growth of fangs? Answer: because of being bitten by a wolf. After you become a werewolf, don't forget to upload your selfie to open everyone's eyes. It's true that you can't find the correct answer by searching on the browser. Wen Jiu speechlessly closed the Ziji panel and planned to go out for a walk to kill time. She remembered that there seemed to be a small garden downstairs, and it would be good for the body to get more sun. However, as soon as she opened the door of the ward, she saw a cold-faced man in a dark purple military uniform standing outside. When Lieutenant Liang brought a few psychological experts to investigate this time. When he saw Wen Jiu open the door, he wanted to say hello, but the other party closed the door with a swish. Chapter 88 Finally discharged from Hospital 1. Wen Jiu's move made the people following Lieutenant Liang look at each other in bewilderment. Everyone knows that Lieutenant Liang is well known in the garrison base on planet 3047. Anyone who sees him must be respectful. But this little girl just closed the door without even saying hello. In fact, Wen Jiu was not impolite, but she felt that Lieutenant Liang's previous attitude made her a little unhappy. She really didn't like anyone imposing responsibilities on her, and she had already said what she should say, so why did she have to investigate? Student Wen Jiu, I hope you can cooperate with our 11th military region to investigate the Dianhui forest incident. Wen Jiu had just laid back on the bed when Lieutenant Liang opened the door and walked over with a group of people. Without giving Wen Jiu a chance to refuse, he ordered someone to bring an instrument and put it on the table next to him. This behavior made Wen Jiu even more unwilling to pay attention to them. It was obvious that he didn't believe what she said before, so he brought a polygraph. Wen Jiu, please forgive me for my impoliteness. Lieutenant Liang may have realized that his behavior was a bit offensive, but he still straightened his back and prepared to conduct the investigation process. Our next conversation will be recorded on the electronic panel, and all procedures are carried out in accordance with federal law. Please cooperate with our investigation. After he finished speaking, he sent a handsome young man with a handsome face to talk to Wen Jiu. She didn't think that she could change her story by finding a handsome man, did she? What's more, she really told everything she remembered. Even if she was locked up in a federal prison now, she would not change her story. Don't be nervous, little sister. Beiyan dragged her chair and sat beside the bed with a very friendly smile. Brother has a small favor and wants to ask you for help, okay? Wen Jiu felt like laughing. How could someone really treat him like a child? Seeing her lower her head, Beiyan continued, brother knows that the previous training scared you. Why don't you tell me what you went through at that time? Wen Jiu really wanted this handsome guy to stop talking. How could he have a mouth on such a good face? However, she still obediently told what she remembered again. Although she didn't want to be forced to take responsibility, it didn't matter if she could get a result for those innocent students who died. During Wen Jiu's narration, the experts carefully recorded and analyzed her condition, while Lieutenant Liang stared at the polygraph closely. Unfortunately, things did not go as planned. Until Wen Jiu finished narrating, the polygraph did not make a sound. I'm done. Do you have anything else to say? Wen Jiu turned a corner of the quilt over and over in boredom. Lieutenant Liang looked at the psychological experts behind him, but they all shook their heads in denial, indicating that what Wen Jiu said was indeed true and there was no concealment. He turned back to look at Beiyan, but unfortunately the other party could not give the answer he wanted. The atmosphere gradually became quiet. Beiyan, who felt that he had not completed the task, spoke again without giving up. Little sister, think carefully again. What happened after you were made into spider silk cocoons? Wen Jiu was a little impatient after spending so much time, but she still opened her eyes and said ignorantly, I really don't remember. Lieutenant Liang pinched his eyebrows in annoyance. If there is no progress in the matter of Dianhui Forest, the soldiers stationed here will be severely punished. Are you sure you have recalled all the details? I emphasize again, concealing and not reporting but what? Zhu Wangming stood coldly at the door of the ward. Lieutenant Liang, you brought people here to investigate without permission from above. This is not a small crime, right? Wen Jiu didn't expect Zhu Wangming to speak for her. She watched Zhu Wangming stride over and stuffed her into the quilt. Okay, she didn't understand why these people liked to stuff her in. Besides, the military region has decided to terminate the student investigation into the Dianhui Forest incident. Lieutenant Liang, if you want to get rid of the charges, you might as well go to the forest to find more evidence instead of bothering my patients. Zhu Wangming's call made them speechless, and even Beiyan stood up from his chair with some embarrassment. If you have nothing to do, please go out first. My patients need to rest in a quiet environment. After saying that, he also made a gesture of invitation. After being caught, Lieutenant Liang could only walk out of the ward with a gloomy face and the people behind him. Zhu Wangming didn't even give them a chance to observe at the door, and followed them directly to the door and closed it. Wow, Dr. Zhu, you were so handsome just now. Wen Jiu pretended to be innocent inside, but a beep suddenly sounded in the ward. She turned her head to see that it was the polygraph that Lieutenant Liang and his team forgot to take away. It was so embarrassing. Fortunately, Zhu Wangming only raised the corners of his mouth meaningfully, then picked up the polygraph and walked out. But he returned to the ward soon. Lieutenant Liang and his group were probably still outside. How do you feel now? Wen Jiu was a little confused as to why he asked this. Didn't she have a test value for her body? But she still answered obediently. Very good. Everything I eat is delicious, and I'm in great shape. You also call drinking nutrient solution delicious? Zhu Wangming was speechless at Wen Jiu's words. Then I think you should go to the medical cabin to lie down again to treat your taste. This was like grasping Wen Jiu's soft spot, being poor. So she immediately changed her words. It's just a joke. I feel a little weak, and my mental state is not as good as before. Hearing this, Zhu Wangming nodded, then pressed the call bell at the bedside to find Zhao Zaya. But unlike before, Zhao Zaya pushed the cart in and left, and Zhu Wangming came with the instrument to measure the value for her. Your value. Zhu Wangming's lenses revealed a hint of coldness, and his deep eyes made Wen Jiu unable to understand what he was thinking. How is it, Dr. Zhu? When can I be discharged? Wen Jiu felt that her current physical condition was not a big deal. She just wanted to be discharged as soon as possible so that she could go back to work and earn money. There was no other way. She only wanted to make money. Let's be discharged tomorrow. His words made Wen Jiu happy at first, but then she felt a little strange. Wasn't the discharge too fast? Zhu Wangming seemed to see Wen Jiu's doubts. He said slowly, your values are basically stable, so there is no problem with discharge. But your nutritional deficiency is a bit serious. I will prepare some nutrient solution for you to take back and drink on time. As long as you take good care of it, it will be fine. Besides, your other classmates were discharged after 2 days. If you stay any longer, you will have to pay the hospital fees. Wen Jiu, who was still thinking, was shocked by these words and immediately agreed to be discharged tomorrow. By the way, Dr. Zhu, what's the matter with my ears and teeth? Hearing this, Zhu Wangming's eyes darkened and quickly returned to normal, still looking gentle and refined. Your appearance has changed due to unknown reasons. The specific reasons are still being analyzed, but apart from the slight changes in appearance, there seems to be no other impact at present. Take good care of it, and there is a chance that it will change back to normal later. After hearing this, Wen Jiu temporarily put her mind at ease. As long as it has no impact on her health, she doesn't care about changes in appearance. After seeing that she had no other questions, Zhu Wangming left the ward. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89. Finally discharged from hospital 2. The next morning, Yu Rumen came to the hospital to look for Zhu Wangming. However, she came this time to handle the discharge procedures for Wen Jiu. After completing the process smoothly, she followed Zhu Wangming and knocked on the door of Ward 602. Come in. Wen Jiu was sitting on the hospital bed, having just put on her last shoe. Fortunately, Yu Rumen sent someone to deliver a new school uniform last night, otherwise she would have to go back to school in a hospital gown today. Let's go after you're done packing. Yu Rumen tilted her head and motioned for Wen Jiu to come out. After saying goodbye to Zhu Wangming, she took the hovercraft driven by Yu Rumen back to College 3047. Yu Rumen took her all the way to the dormitory and took out a box of nutrient solution from the Ziji space and placed it on the ground. This is the nutrient solution specially made by Dr. Zhu for you. Drink 1 bottle every morning and then go to the hospital to get it. Hearing this, Wen Jiu asked in a low voice, do I have to pay him to get it? Her words made Yu Rumen laugh out loud. Don't worry, I won't charge you. In fact, Yu Rumen was a little surprised. She went to Zhu Wangming to handle the formalities today. As a result, the other party not only prescribed a box of nutrient solution for Wen Jiu, but also told Wen Jiu to continue to get it after drinking it. When she wanted to pay Zhu Wangming, the other party said it was not necessary, but she felt that there was no need to disclose such things to Wen Jiu, so as not to make this kid think too much. Well, then, Wen Jiu didn't ask any more questions, just thinking that the college gave the money. Then Director Yu, take care. Yu Ruman left the dormitory after explaining all kinds of matters. Because the field training of their freshmen was seriously damaged, they were on vacation these days and did not teach the freshmen. At this time, Kyoshi was also staying in the dormitory. After Yu Ruman left, she immediately grabbed Wen Jiu and began to look him up and down. I was so worried. You were still in a coma when I was discharged from the hospital. If Director Yu hadn't been telling me that you were safe these days, I would have rushed back to the hospital to see you. Wen Jiu quickly comforted the little princess and said cheerfully, I'm fine. How about I make you braised pork for lunch? When Kyoshi heard that there was something delicious, her mood suddenly improved a lot, but she didn't say anything else. Wen Jiu was thinking that she would be discharged from the hospital today, and she was fine anyway, so she could continue to do the canteen work at noon. So she specially communicated with Lulu about the resumption of broadcasting last night and posted a dynamic of Bikalev. Finally, according to the new canteen process sent by Lee Kinson, she selected the ingredients to be used today. But as usual, she bought the ingredients for the live tasting by herself. According to the logistics information, it has been successfully delivered to the storage place, and she can pick it up on the way to the canteen later. The two stayed in the dormitory and chatted for a while. She also learned from Kyoshi that Minahan's brother came to the college. Then Minahan was taken to stay outside temporarily, and she would be sent back to the college after classes resumed. And Zikingai was also taken back by her family after being discharged from the hospital. Before leaving, he was still thinking about Wen Jiu's condition and kept asking Kyoshi to tell him in time. Later, when they talked about the wilderness survival training, Kyoshi was a little sad. After all, her kindness was taken advantage of this time. Although it was not obvious on the face, she was still very hurt in her heart. Okay, don't think so much. You should be proud of your kind heart, and those who take advantage of others' kindness should really reflect on it. After Wen Jiu's guidance, Kyoshi also thought it through. But she secretly made up her mind that she must work hard to train and study hard in the future. Only when you are strong enough, you will not be afraid of others hurting yourself. But when she looked at the fangs exposed at Wen Jiu's lips, she remembered that Yu Ruman had told her about Wen Jiu's condition before, saying that it was a slight change in appearance caused by unknown reasons. What's wrong? Wen Jiu saw that Kyoshi was a little dazed, but she quickly realized what she was thinking, so she smiled and said, don't worry, the doctor said that there is a chance that it will change back if you take care of it. Let's go, let's pick up the express delivery, it's almost time. Seeing that Wen Jiu didn't care much, Kyoshi was relieved. After the two went to the storage to pick up the fresh food express, they slowly walked to the cafeteria. On the way, Wen Jiu looked up at the sky, as if there was a layer of light green film covering it. However, she later learned from Kyoshi that every year, when the cold season comes, the 3047 Academy will open a cold protection shield for a period of time. Although the range is not large, it can at least cover an area, so that the temperature of this area is maintained at a low cold temperature that ordinary people can accept. It's a pity that such technology cannot be widely promoted on planet 3047. After all, not every area can afford to spend a lot of money to make a cold protection shield. And after the protective shield is turned on, the military district will send people to guard the outermost perimeter to prevent someone from taking the opportunity to sneak in to avoid the cold season. Just like modern large-scale heating, everyone covered by the protective shield needs to pay a sum of star coins. 3047 College naturally waived the fees for students, but it did not mean that other residents in the area did not have to pay. On the way to the cafeteria, they did not see many freshmen from the same class. Kyoshi guessed that the freshmen who were discharged were either recuperating in the dormitory or taken home by their parents to be taken care of. Wen Jiu was actually very curious. Kyoshi looked like a little princess with a good family background, so why was she not taken away by her family? But Kyoshi did not mention it, so she did not ask more. After they arrived at the cafeteria, they went directly to window number 18. The ingredients selected by Wen Jiu had been laid out in the kitchen, and they were also given a fully automatic dishwasher and a refrigerator that could store more ingredients. Lee Kin-sung originally wanted Wen Jiu to apply for an automatic cooking robot, but Wen Jiu felt that he was busy enough, so he did not apply. "Hey, is this the new dishwasher?" Kyo-shishi was immediately happy when she saw the dishwasher. "So, can't we fire Zikingayu?" After hearing what Kyo-shishi said, Wen Jiu laughed for a long time. Then she was about to say something when she heard a familiar voice coming from outside the door. "Who wants to fire me? If you lose me, you will never find a better dishwasher." In fact, Zikingayu was in a complicated mood. He used to dislike washing dishes, but now he has to compete with dishwashers for the job. "Oh, I thought you had to come to the college after classes resumed." Kyo-shishi spoke first. "We have better dishwashers here, so I won't bother you to condescend to me in the future. I can do other things if I don't wash dishes. Can you stop waiting for me to leave?" Wen Jiu was already used to the bickering between these two elementary school students, so he directly picked up the broom and mop and stuffed them into their hands. "Stop bickering and do the cleaning." Hearing this, Zikingayu acted aggrieved. "You've even applied for a dishwasher. Why don't you apply for a cleaning robot?" As a result, Wen Jiu rolled his eyes at him and said, "Everything is done by robots, so why should I keep you?" She received last month's turnover from the college last night. After deducting the cost of ingredients and part of the window fee, more than 2,000 star coins were deposited into her account. She didn't keep a penny of this money and directly divided it into two parts and transferred it to Zikingayu and Kyo-shishi's accounts. Although the money is not much, the salary should still be paid. It was because of this that Zikingayu knew that Wen Jiu was going back to the college. Then he followed him back to the college, fearing that he would not be able to eat what Wen Jiu cooked. "Sister Jiu, your ears are a bit fashionable. Where did you get them?" Because Wen Jiu did not hide the changes in her appearance, Zikingayu saw the tip of her ears emerging from her hair at a glance. He had heard Kyo-shishi mention this before, and now that he had actually seen it, he couldn't help but make a few jokes. "Why? You want to get one done, too? Do you want me to introduce you to a doctor? Just tell me my name, and I'll do a bone fracture for you." Wen Jiu was wiping the dust with a towel, but Zikingayu felt like he would be slapped in the face with the towel if he said a few more words, so he raised his hand and made a zipper pulling motion, then shut up and went to work. Chapter 90 Sweet and Sour Spare Ribs 1. The three of them were still very fast, and they cleaned the kitchen in a short while. "I still have to do the live broadcast today. Do you understand what I mean?" Wen Jiu adjusted the little bee that had not been used for a long time and reminded them to wait until the canteen closed for dinner. The canteen meal she prepared today was sweet and sour pork ribs and seaweed egg drop soup. When the time came, she would steam a big pot of rice so that each person could eat 3 bowls. After all, they were students, so it was natural that they would have no problem eating canteen meals. After doing the live broadcast tasting later, she would make the whole braised pork, which would perfectly satisfy her desire to eat meat. Looking at the time, there was still an hour before the canteen opened for dinner. So Wen Jiu turned on the live broadcast and prepared to make the canteen meal while broadcasting. "Hello, money fans, I'm the anchor Gongzi Fake." She had learned that fans like to call themselves money fans, so she simply called them that. As soon as she started broadcasting, the number of viewers rose straight up, and it did not stop until it reached about 20,000. At the same time, the barrage on the Ziggy panel also surged like a tide. "Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Sister Fake, you actually knew to come back? Do you still remember us, the money fans of Bikaliv? I'm so hungry, Grandma. The anchor you follow is finally live. Ding dang 20, the missing person has returned." In addition to these old fans who are already familiar to her, many new fans have also poured in. "It's Saksu, woo 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 woo. Although I'm a new fan, I have read Monkey Brothers food tweets countless times, and my saliva is flowing so much that I can swim. Anchor, you are finally live." Meow777, who can understand the pain of the anchor not being live on the first day of joining the pit. Witty boy, I understand you in the front. I learned that the anchor had not been live for more than 10 days on the day I joined the pit. What we are saying here is that we gave a big speechless action. Now let's send out an idea to ask for a tasting seat. Is it okay? Wen Jiu specially slowed down the speed of the barrage flow and the number of barrages on the same screen this time, but it was still a bit confusing. She really didn't expect that she hadn't been on the air for more than 10 days, but she attracted so many new and old fans to post comments. Some personal matters delayed the live broadcast before, but now it has officially resumed. I'm sorry to worry everyone. If there is an unexpected situation and I need to stop the broadcast in the future, I will release updates in advance. After comforting the money fans, Wen Jiu began to introduce the cafeteria meal he would make today. Today I plan to make sweet and sour pork ribs and seaweed egg drop soup, and then make a braised pork when I taste it later. Pumpkin and big guanan. This is another dish I haven't heard of. I'm so looking forward to it. Broken into glass slag same as above. I haven't heard of it, but I believe that Sister Farke can cook even wild grass deliciously. Because when Jiu adjusted the ZG panel to be very large to facilitate the comment, Kyo Shishi and Zikingayu next to him could also see what these viewers posted. They both agreed with the comment that Wen Jiu could cook wild grass deliciously. Let's start with the ingredients. Since the students will have dinner soon, we will make seaweed egg drop soup and sweet and sour pork ribs first, but we have to steam the rice first. Wen Jiu said as she began to weigh the appropriate amount of rice to steam. At the same time, she remembered the egg fried rice tutorial she had posted on her social media. Speaking of which, I don't know how everyone is doing with the recipe. I'll go off the air later today. After the tasting, I'll go to the social media area to comment and guide the money fans who have submitted their homework. However, as soon as she finished her words, a dense barrage of comments instantly hit her. Wanzhao, welcome to comment. Although I only succeeded in making egg fried rice, it tastes pretty good. Big brother monkey, I also succeeded in making egg fried rice. The other dishes are too difficult, and the egg fried rice I made is not even half as delicious as Sister Farke's. However, the money fans who welcome comments are a minority, and most people yelled at Wen Jiu not to look at the social media area. Man like the wind, the masterpiece of this dark cooking king, should not pollute Sister Farke's eyes. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls, me too. I originally uploaded my product to the dynamic area for fun. When I heard that Sister Farke wanted to see it, I immediately looked for how to delete the comment, but found that I couldn't delete the comment at all. 1 week of frowning, I was smart. I didn't make it at all, waiting to grab a tasting seat and enjoy what Sister Farke made. The grass on my head, I clearly followed the recipe step by step, but why did I make it look like a pile of that thing? Since Monkey Brothers fans watched Wen Jiu's live broadcast, they basically defected and became loyal fans of money and parted ways with Monkey Brother. Monkey Brother was so angry that he almost issued an announcement on Zingbo to ban his fans from watching Wen Jiu's live broadcast. But he was not angry about his fans running away, but that they all came to compete with him for the pitiful tasting seats. The rice is already steaming. Next, we will start to prepare the spare ribs for the sweet and sour spare ribs. Wen Jiu took out a few ribs of black wind boar, which she specifically asked the canteen to purchase after checking. She quickly chopped the red and white fresh spare ribs into small pieces with a kitchen knife, filled a large basin with them, and then washed them with clean water. There are certain differences between black wind boar and Gilou-beast. For example, the meat of Gilou-beast is 60% fat and 40% lean, which is particularly suitable for braising, making meatballs, etc. The meat of black wind boar is firmer and has more lean meat, so it is more suitable for making spare ribs or stir-fried shredded pork, etc. After cleaning the spare ribs, Wen Jiu put some marinade in it and let it marinate for 20 minutes before continuing to make it. Taking advantage of this gap, she prepared the sweet and sour sauce that would be used later. Remember, don't add a lot of seasonings like I did. I just prepared the sweet and sour sauce at once, because I have to stir fry it many times. You don't need so much if you cook for one person. The dishes to be cooked today are not very time consuming. Wen Jiu saw that there were still more than 10 minutes before the ribs were marinated, so he took out the sweet and sour meat for the braised pork, washed it, and threw it into the pot to simmer. If you want to try it, you can choose the sweet and sour meat I just showed you. The best is the pork belly with 3 essences and 3 fats. Although the audience didn't quite understand what pork belly was, they all said that they had taken screenshots and saved them, and they would buy them according to the pictures. The time for marinating the ribs is almost up, and the next step is to turn on the fire and heat the oil. As he said that, Wen Jiu poured a proper amount of oil into the newly delivered frying pan. I'll take this opportunity to write a few words. First of all, I would like to thank the little angels who rewarded, voted, collected, checked in, and commented. Thank you. And the 5th chapter is not easy to modify. The author has tried his best to avoid typosaur bugs. But if there are still typosaur bugs, you are welcome to point them out. It just takes a little longer to modify, please understand. Chapter 91 Sweet and Sour Spare Ribs 2. Plop, plop. Wen Jiu poured some of the ribs in first, to prevent the ribs that had been left out for a long time, after frying from having a different taste later. After the ribs were put into the oil pan, golden oil splashed up, and the color gradually changed from bright red to light yellow. Smart boy, how come it smells so good right after it's been cooked? Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. This is a new money grubber. He's greedy right away. Unlike us old money grubbers, we know to save our saliva for later. You can fish out the ribs when they're fried to this degree. Wen Jiu said as she used a colander to fish out the light yellow ribs. At this point, the ribs already had a little aroma of oil, but there was still a faint fishy smell in them. So she waited until the temperature of the oil was a little higher, put the ribs into the pan again, and fried them until they were golden and crispy before fishing them out. Then she poured a little oil into another large pot and heated it up, then added the minced ginger and sweet and sour sauce that had been chopped in advance. Then turn to low heat, stir fry sugar until melted, and finally add an appropriate amount of water starch to condense the sweet and sour sauce. 1. After everything was ready, Wen Jiu poured the fried spare ribs into the pot, and then quickly stir-fried them to ensure that each piece of spare ribs was coated with the sweet and sour sauce. The sweet and sour smell gradually drifted in the air, pulling everyone's heart. I'm so hungry. I suddenly felt that my name was very appropriate. Man like the wind. What is this smell? Why does it smell sweet and sour? It feels weird, but makes me want to drool. Brother Monkey, sweet and sour spare ribs. It looks delicious. As a gourmet who helps Sister Farke promote, when will Sister Farke blackmail me? Wen Jiu glanced at the barrage and was about to chat with these money fans when he heard Kyoshi coming over and whispering that some students had come to eat. She was a little surprised. Didn't students usually come to eat after 11 o'clock in the past? How come there are students here when it's only 10 minutes before 11? Fuck, window 18 is actually open. A boy shouted outside, and then a group of students gathered in front of window 18, each with a wronged expression on their face. You are finally open. I have lost 10 pounds from hunger. Since I ate the food at window 18, I can no longer eat the food at other windows. Before I came into contact with food, I was a social phobia, and didn't even dare to talk to people. Thanks to window 18, I became cheerful and confident. Now I'm crazy. Hi, my chef. Customize a portion of Cheyenne potatoes with spicy and onions for me. What is the guy in front yelling about? Don't you know the rules after not coming to eat for a few days? Chef, I'm a very sensible person. I will eat whatever you cook, and will never make excessive demands. Wen Jiu was busy cooking and live streaming, so Kyoshi was still responsible for receiving these hungry students. Today's menu is sweet and sour pork ribs, and seaweed egg drop soup. And the staple food is rice. As soon as Kyoshi finished speaking, the group of students lined up very sensibly, and she didn't need to maintain order at all. I have money, everyone, give me one. Wan Dallin was so hungry that his cheeks were sunken. Since the temporary closure of window 18, he couldn't eat any other food. Because the other food in the cafeteria was compared with the delicacies in window 18. No, it couldn't be compared at all. It could be said to be a moon landing level. These days, he couldn't even drink the nutrient solution, and he just wanted to eat, so he became thinner and thinner. After finally waiting for the news that window 18 was reopened, Wen Jiu rushed to the cafeteria as soon as get out of class was over. So he became the first student to buy food and sat down happily with the plate in his hand. The sweet and sour pork ribs were wrapped in a bright red outer membrane and dotted with white sesame seeds. Wen Jiu couldn't wait to pick up a piece and bite it. The sourness and sweetness were two completely different tastes, but at this moment they were equally balanced and achieved a perfect balance. The bright red and oily ribs tasted soft and slightly chewy. Every inch of them was infused with the flavor of sweet and sour sauce, but you could taste the original meat aroma of the black wind boar while chewing. Sure enough, window number 18 was where Wen Jiu belonged. This rare delicacy made Wen Jiu eat all the meat of the ribs, and he had to suck on the bones for a few times before he was willing to spit them out of his mouth. He secretly sighed in his heart that, if the bones were not inedible, he would even want to swallow them together. Then he took another sip of the seaweed egg drop soup. After all, he was a little thirsty after running all the way. The fresh and fragrant seaweed and the yellow egg drop were drunk into the mouth together, and the crispy and sweet shrimps could be tasted in the fresh, tender and smooth taste. The slightly spicy chopped green onion soaked the flavor in the soup, adding an attractive flavor to the already fragrant seaweed egg drop soup. Although there is a cold-proof protective shield, the temperature can only be maintained at a level of cold that ordinary people can adapt to without a warm stone. So after taking a sip of hot soup, Wen Jiu felt itchy in his heart and sighed involuntarily. Great. However, his voice did not attract many students' attention. Because they finally tasted the long-lost delicacy, every student who bought food and started eating had a happy smile on his face. There are many students with social bullishness, and each of them blew rainbow farts from the bottom of their hearts. It made those students who had never eaten at window 18 want to line up to try it. Oh my god, my friends, this sweet and sour pork ribs, it almost makes me confused. What kind of chef's showmanship is this? I'm afraid that only gods can make such seaweed egg drop soup. Wen Jiu was busy in the kitchen. After hearing the sighs of the students outside, she also had a happy smile on her face. After all, who doesn't like to be praised for the food they make? But it was very uncomfortable for the audience watching the live broadcast. Every time I see these students eating the food cooked by Sister Farke without any effort, I really want to go back to school. 33. Wake up. Don't you know what the food in your college is like? Only the college, where Sister Farke is, can have such delicious food. I'm so hungry. Woo 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 woo. I hate myself for not being a student of this college. Before watching the live broadcast, I thought that the food tweets were somewhat exaggerated, but I didn't expect that Sister Farke's real live broadcast was even more tempting. I'm greedy, I'm greedy, I'm greedy. At the same time, Lulu leaned on the office chair with a smile on her face. Looking at the barrage sent by these money fans, her joy in her heart became even greater. Signing Gongzi Farke was indeed a correct decision. Not only can you make a lot of money, but you can also eat food directly with the editor's privileges. When she thought that she would be able to eat that braised pork later, Lulu felt that she was in a very good mood. PS 1. This is the sweet and sour pork ribs from Chef Wen Gang's tutorial. The author is not very good at making this yet, so she searched for the recipe. Chapter 92. Egg fried rice beating incident 1. Just give me a set meal. At first, the students who ordered would choose which dish they wanted to eat, but the cafeteria meal prepared by Wen Jiu this time just happened to be one dish, one soup and rice, so many students started to ask for a set meal later. Please take your set meal. Kyoshi put the tray on the food counter with a smile on her face. Liu Pao took it with shining eyes and sat down next to Wen Jiu excitedly. TSK, I was a step late for class today, but luckily I made it. Liu Pao was different from Wen Jiu. Although he was impressed by the food at window 18, it was not impossible for him to continue drinking nutrient solution. It was just that he couldn't eat the food at other windows. He watched Wen Jiu eat with relish, and he didn't even have time to say hello to him. So he simply picked up the soup bowl, thinking of quenching his thirst before eating. The clear soup was filled with purple seaweed, and strands of egg flowers were mixed with red and white shrimps. There were a few chopped green onions scattered on the soup, and the aroma kept coming. This soup is so fragrant. Liepao couldn't help smacking his lips and blew gently on the soup before taking a sip. At that moment, he seemed to be soaked in warm spring water filled with steam. Then came the fresh fragrance that exploded on the tip of his tongue. The tender seaweed contrasted with the crispy shrimp, and the chewing was quite layered. He was intoxicated by this warmth and didn't come back to his senses until he emptied the bowl of soup. Then Liepao looked at the plate of shiny red sweet and sour pork ribs. He felt that just looking at it was enough to whet his appetite. It was not until he ate a piece that he felt that his previous evaluation was not enough to praise this plate of sweet and sour pork ribs. It was sweet and sour and sweet. These two flavors were perfectly combined with the aroma of meat. It seems that, because it has been fried, you can still feel the slightly crispy skin when you bite it, while the meat inside is very tender. Fuck, it's so delicious. At this time, the audience in Wen Jiu's live broadcast room also exploded. Pumpkin Big Guanan, it's been a long time since I last saw the drooling part. I always look forward to starting to make tasting food quickly. It's Azu, I'm a newcomer. Do you have to drool like a river before you start tasting? Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Going back to the front. Yes, that's right. It is recommended to bring your own snacks every time you watch the live broadcast, but snacks can only be used to make do, and they are not as delicious as the food made by Sister Farke. Wen Jiu kept busy, maybe because it hadn't been open for many days. There were a lot of students coming to eat today, and everyone ordered in pairs. As the last portion of sweet and sour pork ribs was taken away, window number 18 finally ended its business at noon today. But many students knew that this was not really the end. Every time they thought that window 18 was closed, they could smell a more fragrant and tempting smell when they passed by there. It was a pity that window 18 would close the visual window every time it closed, so the students outside could not spy anything and could only leave with curiosity. Okay, let's start preparing the dishes for the tasting. Wen Jiu took the previously blanched gilubis meat to the chopping board. Start making the braised pork. First cut the processed gilubis meat into small pieces. As the kitchen knife rose and fell regularly, pieces of gilubis meat of uniform size were neatly arranged on the chopping board. The method of making this braised pork is not difficult. I will post the recipe in the dynamic as usual after the broadcast. If you want to try it, you can try it. After cutting the meat, Wen Jiu quickly cut some ginger slices and green onion segments for later use. Then she took out a small bowl and said, "Now I will teach you to identify some commonly used spices. In addition to using them in making braised pork this time, you may also use them when making other dishes in the future. Like this small brown flower, it feels hard and has 8 corners. It is generally called star anise. Brother Monkey, start taking notes. I remember that it seems to be called mark corner in the illustration. Once how, I want to make a suggestion. Can Sister Farke turn on the live broadcast playback function? Sometimes I want to review the method, but it doesn't work. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn it on before." When Jiu realized that he had not turned on the live broadcast playback function after seeing this barrage. After turning it on, she added the spices needed for making braised pork this time into the small bowl, while continuing to explain to the audience. She simply grabbed some star anise, bay leaves, and cinnamon, then washed off the dust on them with clean water, and finally took a small gauze bag to pack the spices. It's almost ready, now light the fire and heat the oil. When Jiu threw the ginger slices and scallions into the hot oil first, and the spicy aroma was immediately stimulated by the boiling oil. Then she put in the square pieces of meat, fried them on low heat until golden, and then took them out again. In order to make it less greasy, we filter out some of the excess oil in the pot. Then when Jiu poured the meat back into the pot, and began to add rice wine, light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, rock sugar, etc. Finally, pour in an appropriate amount of clean water and cover the pot, allowing the incomparable deliciousness to slowly brew. After boiling over high heat, you can turn to low heat and simmer. This time, the braised pork will take a long time to make. Why don't I go and see the homework everyone has submitted in the dynamic area? As soon as she finished speaking, the barrage began to swipe crazily. Ding dang 20. Some people are about to die socially, but I won't say who it is. Broken into glass slag. Ha 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 ha. I seem to know something. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Help. Sister Farkay. Please don't watch. Please please. A man like the wind. I'm dying of laughter, waiting for Sister Farkay to correct my homework. When Jiu clicked on the Ziggy panel and called up the anchor dynamics of Bikaliv. In addition to being able to post dynamics in this dynamic area, fans who follow her can also post and discuss here. When Jiu is usually busy, and she only goes to the dynamic area when she posts recipes. But she always goes offline after posting, so she has never carefully browsed what fans will post. She slid the panel with her fingertips, and the first thing that came into her eyes was a short video. The user who posted this short video is called Chris Wants to Eat 5 Bowls, and when Jiu has some impression of this person has been following her for a long time, and has always been her loyal fan. So when Jiu gently poked and clicked on the short video, the face of a young man appeared in the screen, looking a little immature, probably only in his 20s. He seemed to seldom take selfies. After adjusting the camera on the panel for a while, he sat upright at a table. Hello everyone, I'm Chris, the money-loving man. Today at noon, I tried to make the recipe of the fortune-loving sister, golden egg fried rice. I'll show my finished product to other money-loving people here. I think it's pretty good. As he said that, he brought over a plate of an unknown object that was half black and half yellow. Chapter 93 Fried Rice Beating Incident 2. When Jiu hadn't realized what her fan would do next. However, the dish of unknown object looked so terrible that Kyoshi and Zikingai almost couldn't help laughing. I think it might be a little burnt, but the recipe is all according to the recipe, so it should taste good. Chris was full of confidence at this time. He took out a spoon and scooped up a full spoonful and put it into his mouth. The first second after he put it into his mouth, his face was still very normal. He even revealed a hint of confidence that brother is the god of cooking. Then, his face began to change wildly as he continued to chew. First, his whole face wrinkled into a ball, and then he began to shake his head left and right. Later, his face turned red, and he began to scratch his ears and cheeks. Then his cheeks bulged, as if he was wearing a mask of pain. The last shot was the scene where he hurriedly got up and ran away. When Jiu guessed that he might have run to the toilet to vomit. I'm so hungry, the money lovers laughed, and Chris was publicly executed. A man like the wind. I would like to call it the egg fried rice beating incident. Meow. Oh my god, Chris's confidence at the beginning made me dig my toes tightly, and now there is a castle under my feet. Well, when Jiu was silent after reading it, she didn't know how to comment. Chris, can you tell me how you made it specifically? Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Sister Farkay, I swear I followed your recipe step by step. If you don't believe me, you can click on my homepage, where I uploaded a complete video of making egg fried rice. In this case, when Jiu clicked on Chris's homepage, and there was indeed a long video of more than 20 minutes. But in order to save time, she quickly watched Chris's cooking video at 3 times the speed. There is nothing wrong with the preparation of this material, but didn't I tell you that, after steaming the rice, it should be placed in the refrigerator's insulation layer overnight, not frozen overnight in the freezer? And why did you put it in hot water to cook it? When Jiu was a little embarrassed, she watched Chris put a large bowl of rice into the freezer, and after freezing it overnight, he took it out and knocked it. It seemed that the rice was still very hard, so Chris simply took a basin of hot water and threw the rice in directly. In the end, he used the rice that was almost soaked in water to make fried rice with eggs. He is really a master of dark cuisine. And you have to put oil in before frying the eggs, not after throwing all the ingredients in. But when Jiu felt that everyone was trying it for the first time, and it was inevitable that there would be mistakes. So after exiting Chris's video, she continued to browse down in the dynamic area. What's more, she felt that she wrote the recipe in great detail, so not everyone would fail, right? However, it turned out that she really thought too much. Pumpkin Big Guanan, here we come. Welcome the next money grubber to be publicly executed. Banana, I remember that the second most popular person seems to be Monkey Brother. 1 week flowering period. Is it our monkey brother? There definitely won't be a dark dish. In addition to a 10-minute video, the second most popular person's dynamic also included a picture of the finished product. Wen Jiu glanced at the username Monkey Brother, which was another fan she was familiar with. Judging from the picture alone, it was much better than what Chris made. Although it didn't reach the level of golden color and distinct grains, it at least looked edible. So she clicked on the video posted by Monkey Brother again, and it was still played at double speed. There is nothing wrong with Monkey Brother's cooking process, but you don't need to use such a low fire when frying eggs and fried rice. Also, you can put a little more oil before frying eggs, and remember to stir the rice before using it, so that it doesn't stick together. Also, I saw that Monkey Brother didn't look very good when he was eating at the end. Is he sick? Monkey Brother, no, it's because I put sugar in instead of salt. After seeing the barrage, Wen Jiu couldn't help laughing. But this is not a big problem, at least it was successful. It seems that the recipe she posted is still very good. So Wen Jiu continued to scroll down with hope, but unfortunately the third one of resin also failed. This user claimed that he just wanted to eat more meat, so he added several kilograms of shredded meat to a serving of rice. But he himself doesn't know how to cook. This is his first time cooking. The result is imaginable. The shredded meat with blood mixed in the charred rice makes people feel nauseous just by looking at it. If you want to eat fried rice with meat, I will make a special recipe to teach you in the future. Novices should try not to add some fancy ingredients for the first time. Yi Xiao Dalang 33. I didn't expect egg fried rice to be so difficult to make. I thought I could just add whatever I wanted, but it turned out to be egg fried rice is indeed not difficult to make, and Wen Jiu didn't expect them to be able to do it like this. And there will be various magical dishes next. Some tried to make fried chicken and ended up blowing up the pan. Some wanted to add some flavor to the rice, so they poured a whole bottle of drink, and some made fried rice into egg porridge. In short, there are only ways of failure that Wen Jiu couldn't think of, and there are no failed dishes that these fans can't make. It seems that my recipe is not accurate enough. Wen Jiu sighed secretly in her heart, but she thought that the people here are used to eating dark dishes, and it is really difficult for her to make them delicious at once, which made her feel better. I'm so hungry. No, we really don't have the talent for cooking. Sister Fake, don't blame yourself. Wanzhao, indeed, I thought I was good at cooking before, but after trying Sister Fake's fried chicken recipe, I found that I was also a genius in dark cuisine. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. With Sister Fake's recipe, I really made a lot of progress. Last time I tried to make fried eggs with tanbuts, I almost burned the kitchen. This time, at least I made a finished product. The audience was posting comments one after another. Wen Jiu watched for a while and then turned off the dynamic area because the braised pork was almost done. The braised pork has been cooked for 40 minutes. Next, switch to high heat to collect the sauce. During this process, the sauce will begin to thicken, so keep stirring to prevent it from sticking to the pan. At the same time, remember to take out the spice bag and ginger slices that were put in before. She explained while stirring with a spatula in her hand. The braised pork in the pot, which was fried in a bright red color, exuded a wave of meaty aroma. The boiling soup gradually became richer, and the thick braised pork became more and more crystal clear. The audience's tears flowed from their mouths. It can be served at this stage. After hearing this, Kaioshishi and Zikingayu, who had been waiting nearby, took their bowls and chopsticks in their hands very sensibly, just waiting for the meal to start. Ah, I finally have time to write. It's up. Congratulations to the young author for successfully getting it up. From now on, there will be 3 updates every day, 2,000 words each, and if there is a push, more updates will be added as appropriate. I still trouble all the little angels to vote, collect, check in, and comment. Thank you all. Thank you to every little angel who supports the young author. Thank you all so much. Because time is running out, I won't say so many lines today. Thank you to the little angels who gave rewards yesterday. Thank you to the little angel of happiness for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Wansheng for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Wansheng. Small account. For the reward, thank you to the little angel. Do you want to eat ice cream? No to carrot_carrot. For the reward, thank you to the little angel. CK for the reward, thank you to the little angel who cast the monthly votes yesterday. Thank you Heartlock for the monthly vote. Thank you Yuxu for the 2 monthly votes. Thank you Ruea for the monthly vote. Thank you CK for the 3 monthly votes. Chapter 94 Braised Pork 1. It's the same old rule. I'll eat first as a sign of respect. Wen Jiu scooped up some of the braised pork with a spatula and put them into 2 bowls, then handed the other bowl to Kaioshishi and the others as usual. She also specially left some sweet and sour pork ribs and rice, and of course she didn't forget the seaweed egg drop soup. After successfully dividing the food among Kaioshishi and the others, Wen Jiu picked up the rice bowl and picked up a piece of shiny braised pork with fat and lean meat, broken into glass shards. I want to report that Sister Fake abused her fans. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. I'm used to it. I've been craving it for so many days. I can eat it for 1 more day. A man like the wind, the wind man, will definitely get a seat for the tasting this time. The braised pork is sweet and soft, and the sweet and sour pork ribs are moderately sweet and sour. Just the sauce and rice are enough to whet your appetite. Then take a sip of the seaweed egg drop soup, which is full of umami and has the fragrance of chopped green onions, perfectly melting the slightly greasy feeling brought by the meat. Everyone, don't be impatient. Wait for me to eat the last piece of braised pork. Wen Jiu put the braised pork in his mouth and poured the remaining rice into the bowl that originally contained the braised pork. The white rice and the thick red sauce were mixed together, and the delicious sauce bibimbap immediately attracted the audience's attention. The green with grass on his head. Why do I remember that Sister Fake said that she would stop after she finished eating this piece of braised pork? Bingen, you remembered the previous one correctly. Sister Fake, please finish eating quickly and start tasting. Oh, don't be impatient. When Jiu changed the spoon and scooped up the rice, I have to eat enough to have the strength to work, right? So the audience could only suppress the mood of beating Sister Fake and wait patiently for her to finish the rice spoon by spoon. But Wen Jiu has never been a procrastinator. After she finished eating, she quickly started to arrange the dishes. Speaking of which, she also purchased these plates at a low price. If you want to blame it, blame the smart scanning. Not only did the food get swept away, but the plates were also swept away. As a result, Wen Jiu later discovered that the swept away plates could not be returned to her. So before the broadcast, she also bought a lot of low-priced plates from the gold mining store. The cooking time of braised pork is relatively long, so Wen Jiu used the cafeteria pot to cook the braised pork at one time. Then she divided the braised pork in the pot into 20 portions. Get ready for the tasting, money lovers, get ready. In fact, Wen Jiu had the privilege of signing a contract anchor after signing the contract, and now he can open 60 tasting seats at a time. But she felt that her body was not fully recovered yet, and it would be a bit tiring to do too much work right away, so this time she only opened 20 seats. As the last sound of the countdown fell, the 20 tasting seats were swept away in an instant. 1 week flowering period. Wow, I didn't get it. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Damn, I'm resurrected after social death. I finally got a tasting spot. I'm so hungry. Congratulations. I've lost the opportunity to taste the cooking skills of the wealthy sister again and again. Since the tasting spots are all taken, I'll start scanning. Those who got it, remember to be ready to receive it. When Jiu turned on the scanning function of Bikaliv and entered the braised pork into the transmission one by one, Kaioshishi and Zikingayu next to him had already eaten so much that their bellies were round. Both of them were quietly waiting for Wen Jiu to go off the air. Chris sat at the table in a daze. After watching the live broadcast for so many days, he finally managed to get a tasting spot. This joy made him run around the coffee table in the living room for more than 10 laps before stopping, and then he saw a plate of brightly colored braised pork on his table. So he couldn't wait to pick up a piece with his hands and throw it into his mouth, and his eyes suddenly lit up. The braised pork covered with sauce was fat but not greasy, and the skin was elastic, but did not affect the softness of the lean meat. The soft, glutinous, and fragrant taste lingered on his tongue, so delicious that it made people feel out of their bodies. The overly delicious braised pork made Chris both satisfied and a little disappointed. He was worried that his tongue would become picky and he would never be able to eat other food again. But after thinking about it, so what? At most, he could work hard to learn how to cook, and one day his meals would be comparable to those made by Sister Farkay. Oh no, even 1% as delicious as those made by Sister Farkay. So Chris continued to enjoy this delicious food. The whole piece of braised pork was soft and chewy, and the more he chewed, the more fragrant it became. There was no greasy feeling of fat at all, but it made people feel as if they were surrounded by the aroma of meat. This feeling made Chris feel very satisfied. Because each portion of braised pork was not much, he had to chew it repeatedly until his cheeks were tired before he was willing to swallow it. "Chris, I'm back." A pleasant female voice came from the door. The voice frightened Chris so much that he stood up immediately and then walked forward to greet her with a smile. "Sister, why didn't you send me a message in advance before you came here?" Chris hated himself for not finishing the braised pork quickly. Now that Zuan Rudy was here, his braised pork might be in danger. Chris and Zuan Rudy were half siblings. Their mother divorced and remarried after giving birth to Zuan Rudy in her early years. Later, she took Zuan Rudy with her to marry Chris's biological father. Zuan Rudy was a few years older than Chris. She left home to work hard on her own after she became an adult, and she rarely contacted her family. It was only 2 years ago, when their parents passed away in an accident, that the relationship between Zuan Rudy and Chris gradually warmed up. However, in life, they still lived separately. Zuan Rudy would occasionally come to Chris's house to visit, and Chris would also occasionally visit Zuan Rudy's residence. "Hey, where did you buy this delicious food?" As soon as Zuan Rudy entered the door, she smelled a unique aroma, which made her lick her red lips, even though her lips were still painted with her newly bought lipstick. "I didn't buy it. I worked hard to snatch it from the live broadcast room." Chris's tone was a little aggrieved. He hoped that his good sister would understand and stop snatching meat from him. Unfortunately, Zuan Rudy ignored the pitiful tone in his tone, took out a pair of chopsticks from the kitchen, and sat down at the table. The braised pork on the plate was neatly stacked, and the bright red sauce was splashed on it, as if it was coated with a layer of lubricating and translucent film. Seeing Zuan Rudy staring at the plate of braised pork fascinatedly, Chris quickly said, "Sister, didn't you say that you were going to start losing weight when you were preparing to debut? Look at this meat. It's so fat and greasy. You will gain at least 3 pounds with one bite." However, the other party ignored him at all and picked up the crystal clear braised pork with chopsticks. The aroma of meat and the sweetness of sugar are intertwined. When the teeth bite down gently, the meat is tender and soft. The mellow sauce completely permeates the meat, but it does not overwhelm the main flavor, retaining the pure meat aroma to the greatest extent. "Fuck, which live broadcast room is this from?" Chris saw that the braised pork he had finally grabbed was getting less and less, and he felt heartbroken. "Good sister, if you want to eat it, go grab it yourself next time. Good sister is to help you get rid of these fat meats." Zuan Rudy chewed the braised pork in her mouth with a satisfied look on her face. "Hurry up and give me the name of the live broadcast room, otherwise I will come to you every day to wait." Hearing this, Chris quickly sent the live broadcast room of congratulations on getting rich. The main reason is that Sister Farkay would go off the air every time she finished the tasting, so Zuan Rudy did not see the projection of the live broadcast when she came. Chris thought that Zuan Rudy was full after eating 2 bites of food as usual, but the other party licked the sauce clean before putting down the plate. The braised pork he had been craving for ended up being eaten by someone else. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. I was out all night because of something, so I didn't have time to go home and update in time. I didn't get home until 2 in the morning, and then I immediately turned on the computer to update. Cack. I hope all the little angels will understand. Thank you to every little angel for the monthly votes and recommendation votes, and thank you to every little angel who commented, checked in, and collected. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much. Cack, welcome new little cuties. If you like it, remember to collect it, and it would be the best if you can vote. If you have anything you want to communicate with the little author, you can comment, and the little author will reply in time. 030 The following thanks to the little angels who rewarded yesterday. Thank you for the reward from little angel Wansheng. Thank you for the reward from Wansheng. Small account. Thank you for the reward from little angel Limo. Little angel, I can't type your full name here. Please understand cack. Thank you for the reward from little angel du asterisk jiaoxi. Thank you for the reward from little angel luo yunli. Thank you for the reward from little angel sanli. Thank you for the reward from little angel mo yukingshan. Thank you for your cruelty, which will bring you rewards from the kind little angels in the world. The following thanks to the little angels who cast monthly tickets yesterday. Thank you to book friend 15 asterisk 03 forecasting 2 monthly tickets. This little angel's name is an emoticon. Please forgive me if the emoticon cannot be displayed in the background. Thank you to grapefruit lemon and green tea forecasting a monthly ticket. Thank you to shishi forecasting 2 monthly tickets. Thank you to book friend 2 asterisk 78 forecasting 5 monthly tickets. Little angel, your name is also an emoticon. Please forgive me if the background cannot be displayed. Thank you to grapefruit fried orange forecasting a monthly ticket. Continue in the next chapter. Chapter 95 Clay Pot Seafood Porridge 1. Because of the temporary suspension of classes, Kyo-shishi went to the training ground in the afternoon to practice on her own. Wen Jiu took her big iron pot to the rooftop to prepare for a new round of alchemy. She had eaten up the Kinglian pills she had made before, but her body was still too weak, and now she was inexplicably weak, so it was even more difficult for her to speed up the advancement of her superpowers. What Wen Jiu didn't know was that it was difficult to advance her superpowers here. People like Yu Rumen and Zhang Heling only had level 5 superpowers. What's more, she had dual superpowers, so the energy she needed to absorb and the time she spent were naturally more and longer than others. But she didn't rush to force things to happen, and she had to lay a good foundation for her body before she could train better. So Wen Jiu bought a lot of new herbs at the Star Network supermarket yesterday, and some of them were quite expensive. Before placing an order, she went to see if the same type of pills she was going to make were more affordable. As a result, seeing that a pill for replenishing ki and maintaining health costs 2000 star coins, Wen Jiu decisively chose to make it herself. Not to mention that these 2000 star coins are almost the cost price of her herbs. The pills she made herself will definitely be better than those sold on the market. Wen Jiu is still very confident about this. But when it comes to making medicine, Teacher Yan, who took away her adjusted formula before, has not replied to her yet. I don't know when I can get the scholarship. Maybe it was because she was too unlucky in Dianui Forest before, so Wen Jiu succeeded in refining the pill only once this time. She quickly rubbed the slightly cooled ointment into small pills and finally put them into the bottle, and it was done. After packing up the utensils and returning to the dormitory, Wen Jiu divided the strengthening pills she made this time into 4 small bottles. Except for 1 bottle for herself, she planned to give the rest to Kyo-shishi, Zikingayu and Minahin. After all, they are friends who have been through life and death together, and Wen Jiu has always treated his own people very well. Of course, except when Zikingayu is rude. It was still early for the canteen to open in the evening, so Wen Jiu simply went to the library to look up some more illustrations. As a result, when she walked out of the dormitory building, she happened to run into Minahan, who was returning to school. Hey, Jiu. Wen Jiu had been lowering her head to plan her recent things. When she heard the familiar greeting, she raised her head and said with a smile, Mina, aren't you going to wait until the suspension of classes is over before coming back? Minahan, who was originally going to go upstairs, saw that Wen Jiu seemed to be going out, so she simply came over and grabbed Wen Jiu to follow her out. It's too boring to stay at home alone. My brother originally said he would stay with me for a while, but the military district had a temporary mission, so he left early. The academy should resume classes in the next 2 days. I heard that the students have almost woken up. Hearing this, Wen Jiu nodded. That's great. I'm going to the library to find some information. Do you want to come with me? I've come out with you. Of course I'm with you. After this period of recuperation, Minahan has returned to her former blonde and blue-eyed exquisite doll appearance. Well, what's the matter with your ears? Minahan tilted her head and saw Wen Jiu's pointed ears, her eyes full of wonder. It's just a minor problem. It should change back after a while. Wen Jiu answered casually. After hearing her words, Minahan nodded thoughtfully. In the interstellar age, any problems may occur. She used to hear her brother tell stories that someone in the military district could grow animal ears. The two chatted all the way into the library. Perhaps because of the suspension of classes, there are many more freshmen coming to study than before. There is a rule to keep quiet in the library, so after they registered, they each found an empty seat and sat down. Wen Jiu came this time to find a few more biological illustrations, and on the other hand, he wanted to read more books related to medicine here. Technology is becoming more and more advanced. When citizens of the Federation get sick, their first reaction is to go to the medical cabin for treatment. Like some people living on advanced planets, they don't worry about the high cost of the medical cabin at all. Even if they have a small cut on their hands, they only want to go to the medical cabin for treatment. Therefore, there are very few medicines that can cure common diseases. Even if there are, the price is very high. Wen Jiu also found out, after checking the information, that the ointment that Uruman gave him before actually cost more than 3,000 star coins to buy a small tube. However, Uruman can still afford it with her ability. But people like Grandma Zao who have little financial ability get sick, saying that they go to see a doctor, but in fact they just buy some herbs and boil them into juice to drink. But whether it can be cured or not depends on fate. Technological progress is a good thing, but Wen Jiu does not think that it is a good thing to completely rely on medical cabins and almost give up medical research. In particular, she flipped through medical books and found that most of them only recorded drugs such as short-term enhancement of superpowers, short-term and small-scale improvement of mental strength, and hemostatic gel. There is no record of common drugs such as cold medicine, antipyretic medicine, antidiarrhea medicine, etc. Wen Jiu secretly thought, if I make some pills or potions that can cure common diseases, wouldn't I be able to make a fortune? But this idea was quickly suppressed by her. She had no channels and no certificates. It was illegal to make and sell medicine privately. This money is not easy to make. After spending an afternoon, Wen Jiu saw that it was almost time for the canteen to eat, so she said goodbye to Minahan and left the library first. Kyoshi sent a message in the afternoon saying that she met Zikingayu in the training ground and the two fought soon. I don't know who will win or lose. Anyway, when Wen Jiu arrived at the kitchen, he didn't even see their figures. But she had to prepare the ingredients first, because the tasting dish prepared for tonight's live broadcast was casserole seafood porridge. Speaking of winter, it is natural to drink some hot porridge to warm the body. And she also prepared a pot of brine to put it aside, so that she could throw some ingredients into it from time to time. So Wen Jiu first took out a bag of rice and put it on the table, and then turned on the Bakaliv broadcast. Good evening, all the money lovers, I'm the anchor Gong Zifake. As soon as she started the broadcast, the number of people watching the live broadcast began to grow. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Is Sister Fake still making braised pork tonight? I didn't eat a few pieces of the one I grabbed at noon before my sister snatched it away. The man like the wind. Chris, you're almost done. It's good enough to be able to eat it, and you're still complaining. It is suggested to silence Chris. How can someone eat lunch and then compete with us for dinner? Be a decent person. No braised pork. Tonight's dish is seafood casserole porridge. I'm really sorry that today's update is late. I apologize again to the little angels who have been waiting for the update. However, the author hopes that everyone will try not to stay up late. It is the same for the little angels, to go to bed early and get up during the day to read the updates. Don't stay up late all the time and affect your body. I hope everyone can be healthy. The following thanks to the little angels who cast monthly tickets yesterday. Thank you Yu Huaxiang for casting a monthly ticket. Thank you Liu Yizing Meng for casting 2 monthly tickets. Thank you Feng for casting 2 monthly tickets. Thank you Zexins Milligrams for casting a monthly ticket. Thanks again to every little angel who supports the author. Thank you everyone. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96 Clay Pot Seafood Porridge 2. Pumpkin Daguanan. What is casserole seafood porridge? I'm so hungry, I don't know, but it must be delicious. That's it. Wen Jiu wanted to say it was a kind of porridge, but when she thought of it, she didn't seem to have the concept of porridge, so she could only say, everyone will know when it's done. It's very suitable for eating in cold weather. However, she plans to make more types of porridge in the future. Later, she can discuss with Lulu and make a porridge column. Unlike the cafeteria meals we made before, today we will prepare the ingredients for the casserole seafood porridge. As she said that, Wen Jiu opened the rice bag and grabbed a handful of rice, and then the little bee intelligent magnifying lens was aimed at her palm. If you try to make it yourself, remember to use this kind of short and fat rice. This kind of rice can be called japonica rice. Japonica rice is hard and tough. After cooking, it is sticky and oily, so it is particularly suitable for making porridge. The porridge cooked with japonica rice is soft, thick, and chewy. 1. Big Brother Monkey. I can learn a lot every time I watch Sister Farke's live broadcast. I never thought that there are so many things to pay attention to when it comes to rice. 1. Zao, same as Brother Monkey. Now I feel like I'm not watching a live broadcast of eating, but attending a food lecture. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. I want to learn how to cook. Sister Farke, please continue to explain. Ding dang 20. Do I have to change the clay pot seafood porridge to beat you this time? The preparation is similar to making fried rice. First, take out an appropriate amount of rice and wash it clean. As he said that, Wen Jiu took a small basin and put some rice in it and started to process it. You don't need to steam rice to make porridge. Let's soak the washed rice in a basin first and then proceed to the next step later. After soaking the rice, Wen Jiu began to process the ingredients for the canteen meal. When she was frying the ribs, Kaioshishi came to the kitchen late. But what surprised her was that Zikingayu didn't come with Kaioshishi. But seeing Kaioshishi's joyful look, Wen Jiu didn't ask much. By the way, I posted the recipe of seaweed egg drop soup on the dynamic after the broadcast. Has any money grubber tried to make it? Wen Jiu originally wanted to post the recipes of sweet and sour spare ribs and braised pork on the dynamic, but she thought that many of her fans couldn't even make fried rice with eggs, let alone dishes like sweet and sour spare ribs and braised pork. In order to protect their personal safety and to prevent someone from blowing up the kitchen, she did not post the recipes for the other 2 dishes. Pumpkin Daguanan. Let's welcome someone to come out and embarrass themselves. Throw flowers the green with grass on his head. Is it the one who almost burned down the kitchen? I'm so hungry. Hello everyone. I'm here to embarrass myself. Wen Jiu was a little confused when she saw this comment. Can you burn down the kitchen while making seaweed egg drop soup? But she still needs to cook porridge at this moment. So she poured the crystal rice that she soaked into the casserole and boiled it, and then put in the fresh shrimp and mushrooms that had been processed in advance, and continued to simmer. Seeing that the ingredients were almost ready, Wen Jiu clicked on the dynamic area to look for new posts. As soon as she opened it, she saw a small video with a striking title. I accidentally burned down the kitchen. Is there any money grubber in Sirius? Can you introduce me to a cheap cleaning robot company? Wen Jiu clicked on the video, and the opening was a lemon head with facial features. This lemon head sighed a few times before starting to tell his story. Hello everyone, I'm sure many money lovers know me, because I often pop up in money lovers groups. This afternoon I was bored and tried to cook, and accidentally burned the kitchen. Now I think it might be God's will. Before cooking, I checked the fortune on Starnet. I know this may sound superstitious. After all, many people don't believe in fortune, and I just checked it out of boredom. As a result, I saw that the fortune said that I would lose money today, and it's best to stay away from the fire. I was happy at the time, and I thought where the fire came from. Now the stoves are all electronic, so I didn't take it seriously. Later, when I made seaweed egg drop soup, because I had never eaten seaweed before, I put a little more to try what it tasted like. As a result, because I put too much seaweed, the pot was filled up while cooking. I accidentally fell asleep on the sofa again, and didn't wake up until I smelled a burnt smell. Then, when Jiu watched the lemon head turn the camera, what came into view was a charred scene, with traces of fire everywhere. Seeing this, Wen Jiu also understood why this money grubber burned down the kitchen. So she turned off the video and said to the camera seriously, "Don't be distracted or doze off when cooking, and beginners who are trying to cook for the first time should try not to change the amount of ingredients recorded in the recipe without permission. It's almost time. I'll do the homework later." When Jiu looked at the time. Next, we have to prepare to open the canteen. She and Kyoshi took their positions, waiting for the arrival of teachers and students. But there was one thing that puzzled Wen Jiu, that is, Zikingai who hadn't come to work at this time. But it was still live at this time, so she couldn't ask Kyoshi, so she could only send a message to Zikingai using the wisdom ring. Family wealth 9. If you don't come to work again, don't come, and don't even think about eating dinner in the evening. After sending it, Wen Jiu didn't look at the message again. There were more students coming to window 18 to buy food at night than at noon, and there were also many teachers mixed in. For example, Yu Ruman and Lee Kinson, they each bought a set meal to take away. This was the first time that someone packed food in the long time since window number 18 opened. So when Jiu searched for a long time before finding the takeaway box, and then he packed the food and placed it at the pickup location with a smile. "We are leaving. I wish you to a prosperous business." After saying that, Yu Ruman picked up her bag and pulled Lee Kinson out. The main reason was that there was a meeting in the evening, and all the teachers in the college were required to attend. They were worried that they would take too long to eat here, so they simply came here to buy the packed food and brought it to Yu Ruman's office to eat. TSK, when Jiu's cooking skills are getting better and better. Lee Kinson blew on her palms. "I can smell the fragrance before I even open the package." Yes. Yu Ruman quickly closed the door of her office, fearing that other teachers would smell the fragrance. The majority of people who went to the cafeteria to eat were students. Most of the teachers either drank nutrient solution or ordered takeaway. In short, few were willing to eat in the cafeteria. After all, they were not like students, and they had the freedom to eat whatever they wanted. It was Yu Ruman and the others who discovered Wen Jiu's superb cooking skills, and that's why they often patronized the cafeteria. But Zhao Sen is still very busy, so only Yu Ruman and Lee Kinson went to buy food. Hurry up and eat. Finally, today's 3 updates are finished. Don't stay up late, go to bed early. Cack, the little author is carefully begging for votes. I want the votes of the little angels. By the way, if you have purchased a chapter, but it shows that you need to buy it again, when you look back, it may be because the little author has corrected a typo or a bug that caused the chapter to refresh. At this time, you don't need to give reading points/book coins for a purchasing. Chapter 97 Clay Pot Seafood Porridge 3. It smells so good. Lee Kinson opened the lid of the sweet and sour pork ribs, and the bright red and square ribs instantly attracted her attention. Yu Ruman, who was standing by, also stared at it intently. They had never seen such a dish before. Or rather, every dish that Wen Jiu made was something they had never come across before. However, they were not very curious people, so they did not ask Wen Jiu how he learned to cook. Hurry up and eat it, before others come to eat for free. Yu Ruman said as she opened a box of rice, and then she and Lee Kinson each picked up a box of rice and started eating. The first dish they picked up with their chopsticks was the sweet and sour pork ribs. The ribs soaked in sweet and sour sauce tasted extremely soft and tender, and the sour and sweet taste made them feel very surprised. What on earth is this taste? It tastes sour and sweet, but it's not strange at all and it smells very good. Lee Kinson felt that her mood was extremely complicated. If someone told her that it would taste good to combine sour and sweet, she would definitely refute it out loud. But now after tasting it, she just felt that she was intoxicated by it. It seems to be called sweet and sour pork ribs. The taste is really amazing. Ruman was also conquered by the taste. She didn't even care about her image and sucked the bones again and again. Next, the two of them secretly competed for the sweet and sour pork ribs with chopsticks. Fortunately, they bought 2 servings, otherwise their friendship of many years might have been broken because of the sweet and sour pork ribs. Hey, Director Yu, Teacher Lee, what are you eating in the office? A young female teacher suddenly pushed the door in. She came to ask Ruman about something, but she smelled a strong meaty aroma when she stood outside the door. What are you eating here? Why does it smell so good? After the words fell, the 2 people who were addicted to eating ignored her. So Sun Ran could only move forward and look at Ruman eagerly, hoping that she could understand what she meant. For the sake of convenience, there are many teachers who eat in the office, so they will share the food they bought with each other. However, Ruman only glanced at her and then stuffed the last piece of sweet and sour pork ribs into her mouth. Wow, you really won't let me taste a bite? Sun Ran regretted it after she said this, because she found that the 2 people not only didn't want to let her taste a bite, but even poured the rice directly into the fragrant box, and then mixed the rice with the sauce, and continued to eat. Forget it, you guys eat it. Don't say I didn't remind you that the meeting will start in 15 minutes. Sun Ran stood up angrily and opened the door to leave. As a result, a more tempting fresh and fragrant smell suddenly came, which made her silently close the door and walk back to Ruman. She only saw 2 portions of water-like things on the table, which looked colorful. Forgive Sun Ran for not being able to associate such things with the soup in her cognition. After all, the soup they drank was either blue or black. In short, it was not a normal color, and the smell was hard to describe. But the fragrance that touched her heartstrings was wafting from here. Sun Ran, are you greedy? Ruman didn't have a big appetite to begin with. After eating the rice and sweet and sour pork ribs, she felt full. Even if she wanted to drink the seaweed egg drop soup, there was really no room in her stomach for more. HMM. Sun Ran stared at the bowl with shining eyes and swallowed unconsciously. Then you can drink it. This is the seaweed egg drop soup I bought from the cafeteria. Ruman pushed the box very generously. At this time, Sun Ran no longer had the mind to think about the cafeteria. There is such a thing. She just picked up the box and took a sip. The seaweed is too soft to chew at all. The eggs are soft and silky with crispy shrimps. The fragrance of onions and the sweetness of shrimps interweave to occupy the taste buds. This is a delicacy that Sun Ran has never tasted before. Unconsciously, tears rolled down from the corners of her eyes. Why are you crying? Ruman was the first to react and immediately took a piece of paper and handed it to Sun Ran. This is so delicious. What kind of garbage have I been eating for more than 20 years? Hearing this, Ruman and Lee Kinson couldn't help laughing. In fact, they had the same reaction when they first ate the food made by Wen Jiu, but not as exaggerated as Sun Ran. After Sun Ran finished drinking the seaweed egg drop soup, they hurried to the college conference hall. The cafeteria is closed, and my casserole seafood porridge is almost done. Wen Jiu slightly lifted the lid and sprinkled the last chopped green vegetables in, and then added a little seasoning. 1 week flowering season. Chili. Wait for the tasting to start. Opening water bottle. There are so many people in this live broadcast room. Can anyone tell me what they are cooking now? Ding dang 20. Back to the front. Making casserole seafood porridge. Pumpkin dagwanan. Welcome to the live broadcast room. The anchor is now making casserole seafood porridge. It is not a dark dish. Please wait patiently for the delicious food. As the popularity of the live broadcast room increases, more and more new fans come to watch the live broadcast. At first, Wen Jiu would take time to explain more, but she later found that these money fans were quite enthusiastic. She didn't even need to speak. As soon as someone asked a question, the money fans would answer it quickly. It can be said that she was very relieved. You can turn off the fire. Wen Jiu wrapped the two sides of the casserole with a towel and then quickly transferred the casserole to the chopping board. Then, she opened the lid and stirred it gently with a spoon. It can be seen that the porridge was cooked very thick. The rice white porridge water is wrapped with bright red shrimps and green vegetable pieces, and the tempting fresh fragrance is mixed with the fragrance brought by the vegetables. This sight and smell immediately makes people yearn for it. I'm so hungry. Can Sister Farke look at my miserable situation of burning down the kitchen and smear me? Pumpkin Big Melon Nan, I'm still miserable, right? I want to be justified. Sister Farke smeared me. Glacier, smeared me. I can cheer for Sister Farke day and night without stopping. User Man Like the Wind presented the anchor with a small boat of friendship to congratulate Farke. Congratulations on becoming the anchor's second shipmate. Man Like the Wind, you guys who want to compete for favor, I will directly give money to Sister Farke, quickly smear me. There will be 30 tasting seats later. Wen Jiu quickly scooped out 2 bowls of seafood porridge. The following are the old rules. Those who understand will understand. I don't know what Zeking guy who is doing tonight, and he hasn't come yet. But since he didn't come, Wen Jiu didn't prepare dinner for him. She only handed a bowl to Kaioshishi and then started her daily eating show. Today's first update. Daily update time is around 0:01. Currently there are 3 updates a day, 2,000 words each update. Thank you to every little angel who sent out monthly tickets and recommendation tickets. Thank you to every little angel who clicked on the collection, insisted on checking in, and making comments. You are all grade 030. If you like it, you can vote, check in, and comment more at the same time. Welcome every new little cutie. Welcome to join the pit. Mumbling, the method of the casserole seafood porridge in the article comes from the little author himself, which is not very professional, and some more cumbersome steps are omitted in the article. Little angels who are good at cooking, please don't dislike it, but if there are delicious methods, you can comment for the little author to learn. He equals W equals the following. Thanks to the little angels who gave rewards yesterday. Thank you to the little angel Wansheng for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Wansheng, small account, for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Do You Want to Eat Ice Cream for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Wenken for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Zifu for the reward. Thank you for the tip from Angel Liang. The suffix of this angel's name cannot be typed out, but I saw that the angel seemed to have changed his name. I will type a new name for the angel next time. Now it is mainly displayed in the background. Thank you for the tip from Angel Ling Yunzi. Thank you for the tip from Angel Shili Sheng. Thank you for the tip from Angel Want to Eat Ice Cream. Note to carrot_carrot. Chapter 98 Clay Pot Seafood Porridge 4. Let me show you this casserole seafood porridge first. Wen Jiu scooped up a spoonful with a small spoon. The crystal white rice grains were stewed soft and the rice fragrance was very strong. She peeled the shrimps before stewing. Each one was round and plump, bright red and slightly pink. The finely chopped mushrooms and green vegetables were mixed together, revealing a different aroma in the rice fragrance. It tastes good. Wen Jiu swallowed a mouthful slowly. There was no way the seafood porridge just out of the pot was too hot. But in the eyes of the audience, they all felt that she was torturing people in disguise. Big brother monkey, Sister Fortune, can I pay you to stop eating? Live green on the head. Please respect the feelings of money fans. Join me in calling for the protection of money fans. A Big Wolf 33. Protect money fans. I don't want to, but this seafood porridge is really too hot. Wen Jiu thought for a moment. How about this? Let's do the tasting session earlier today. I'll go and divide the porridge first. After saying that, she put down the porridge bowl and then divided the remaining seafood porridge in the casserole into 30 small bowls. However, the amount this time was not much because there were too few stores selling casseroles. Wen Jiu browsed for a long time in the gold panning store before finding a store selling casseroles. But the casseroles sold in that store were not big, and she had to divide this pot into 30 portions, so naturally there was not much left. Everyone, get ready. After saying this, Wen Jiu suddenly remembered some of her previous experiences watching live broadcasts for some reason, so she cleared her throat and started shouting loudly. All the money fans, are you ready? The tasting is coming. This seafood porridge is really amazing, delicious and smooth. And this seafood porridge is especially suitable for money fans in the cold season. Just one sip can make you feel warm. But today is limited to 30 servings. If you miss it today, you don't know when it will be back. So all the money fans must seize the opportunity. And the anchor is eating it himself. Everyone must grab it. Grab it. The money fans in the live broadcast room were really confused by Wen Jiu. Why can a food anchor speak the words of some goods anchors so skillfully? Come on, all the money fans, get ready. 3, 2, 1. Tasting. As soon as the words fell, the 30 tasting seats were swept away in an instant. Seeing this, Wen Jiu smiled and began to scan the food. TSK, I thought it was so hard to grab. Zhuang Rudy raised her eyebrows and crossed her legs, sitting on the sofa and looking at Chris with a sad face. Oh my dear sister. 30,000 people are competing for 30 servings of seafood porridge. Isn't that hard to grab? Chris sighed, wanting to show off his prowess to Zhuang Rudy. But Zhuang Rudy grabbed a tasting seat with a casual grab, while he couldn't grab one, even after he had used up all the vacancies. Can you call this hard to grab? Your sister, can compete with 300,000 people for 3 high-end skincare discounts. Okay. Zhuang Rudy usually loves to browse various beauty bloggers when she has nothing to do, so naturally she can't avoid watching live broadcasts to grab those discounted skincare and cosmetics. When the food anchor just read the lines, Zhuang Rudy, who was a little lazy, instantly entered the state of shopping battle. As soon as the other party gave an order, she immediately started the attack. But it's different from before. In the past, people were competing for skincare and cosmetics, but now they are competing for limited seafood porridge. But it doesn't matter what the thing is, as long as the word limited is enough. Hey, my porridge is here. Zhuang Rudy picked up the bowl of porridge on the table. The green vegetables were floating on the top, and the bright red shrimps were faintly visible in the thick white porridge. The porridge looked very pleasing to the eye. It smells so good. Chris was attracted by the aroma of the seafood porridge. He forgot all the sadness and shame. Sister, you ate so much of my braised pork at noon. It's not too much for me to share some of your porridge now, right? Go away. If you want to eat, don't you know how to order takeout? Zhuang Rudy glanced at him and went directly into the kitchen with the bowl to enjoy it alone. Why did she go into the kitchen? The main reason was that she forgot to take a spoon. The seafood porridge was steaming hot, and the fresh and fragrant smell continued to emanate with the heat. She scooped up a spoonful and blew it, then took a sip. The porridge was fragrant, soft, and smooth, and it slid into her throat as if nothing, leaving only the rich rice fragrance spreading on the tip of her tongue. It just makes people feel satisfied, as if they are in a rice field. When they come back to their senses, the fresh and fragrant mushroom pieces and the fragrant green vegetable pieces continue to bloom between their lips and teeth, blending into a constantly fluctuating music. The deliciousness of the ingredients did not take away the rich fragrance of the rice porridge at all, and the combination with it complements each other. What surprised Zhuang Rudy the most was the pink and chewy shrimp. She used to really hate eating seafood and river fish, mainly because she couldn't accept the fishy smell that was unique to them, so she never ate these things. But today's seafood porridge didn't let her taste the fishy smell when she drank it, so she carefully scooped up a shrimp and ate it. The texture is firm and very tender, and the sweetness is fascinating as you chew it. Zhuang Rudy scooped up the shrimps one by one. Sister, do you still want to drink this seafood porridge? Chris licked his lips and lay on the door frame, and he was so greedy. But Zhuang Rudy only looked up at him, then took the bowl and slurped it, even using a spoon to scoop out the rice grains hanging on the bowl wall. I didn't hear what you said just now. She put down the bowl with satisfaction, walked out of the kitchen and patted Chris on the shoulder. Remember to wash the bowl. I have to meet friends tonight, so I'll leave first. Chris stared at the empty bowl of porridge in a daze, and he once again passed by his beloved food. Gathering place for money lovers. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Help. How can I ask my sister to help me grab a tasting seat. Windy man, no way, has it developed to the point of looking for someone to grab it for me? I'm going to report you by real name. I'm so hungry, may I ask which good sister you are? Can you give me the contact information? I'm willing to pay my sister to help me grab it. Pumpkin Big Guanan, what do you mean your sister? I declare that people who can grab tasting seats are all our sisters. Let me send you the contact information. Thank you. Chris looked at the replies of this group of people and felt speechless. What should I do? I didn't get the solution, and even my sister is about to be taken away. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Dream on. After replying the message, he turned off the Ziggy panel angrily, then resignedly picked up the porridge bowl and started washing the dishes. I don't know which friend Zuan Rudy is going to meet tonight. Today's second update has been delivered. Please check it out. I'm asking for votes every day. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can leave a comment 030. The following thanks to the Little Angels, who cast monthly tickets yesterday. Thank you asterisk for 2 monthly tickets. I can't find the second symbol of your name. Little Angel, cack. Thank you Yazixon for 1 monthly ticket. Thank you Coffee for 1 monthly ticket. Thank you Daking for 1 monthly ticket. Thank you Filter for 1 monthly ticket. Thank you Better to be Silent for 1 monthly ticket. Thank you Alice for 1 monthly ticket. Thank you Wei for 2 monthly tickets. Thank you Jiangli for 1 monthly ticket. Chapter 99. It's all peach blossoms that cause the trouble. 1. The Xinguang night market was bustling with people, as lively and prosperous as ever. The vendors around were constantly shouting, making so much noise that pedestrians had to get close to their ears to hear clearly. Wen Jiu sat bored at the stall, writing and drawing with the brush in her hand. Is it here? Hearing the sound, she raised her eyelids and glanced over. 2 girls were standing not far away, looking at her with puzzled expressions. Seeing her notice, the 2 of them were inexplicably flustered, and then pretended to be shopping, and wandered around again. Ahem. It seemed that there was business coming to the door. When Jiu cleared her throat and said, fortune telling, divination, drawing talismans and writing calligraphy. The price is fair. Welcome to ask the price. Although she had tried her best to lower her rough voice, her own conditions were there, and she lowered her voice instead, made her sound more like a bad person who specialized in doing evil things to make dirty money. Zuzu, are you sure this is the place? Zhao Qinggai pulled Li Wanzhu forward slowly. The 2 of them came here today to find the expert that their roommate had mentioned. Last night, her roommate bought a peach blossom charm in the Star Network world, and that night, the boy she had been secretly in love with for a long time confessed to her. Zhao Qinggai and Li Wanzhu, who were both single from birth, naturally had someone they liked. Fortunately, they had a good relationship, so the roommate told them that he had bought a peach blossom charm. Originally, they didn't believe in this kind of metaphysics, but Li Wanzhu found out in the evening that the person she liked seemed to have something else. But the roommate had a date tonight and couldn't take them into the Star Network world to look for it, so he could only send them the name of the stall he remembered. So Li Wanzhu said that she would take Zhao Qinggai with her to find this expert. It should be this. Didn't Xiaoya say it was in the Starlight Night Market, and the name of the stall was something like fortune telling or tyrant sword? After saying that, Li Wanzhu couldn't help but look back, and the fierce and evil man was still staring at them. Could it be that person? Zhao Qinggai was a little timid, and her hand holding Li Wanzhu was shaking. Li Wanzhu didn't dare to speak at this moment, and she was also a little scared. But when she thought that the person she liked was about to leave her, she suddenly had a kind of courage. Hey. Zhao Qinggai didn't expect Li Wanzhu to pull her around and run straight to the big man. Fortune telling, divination, drawing talismans and writing. The price is fair. Welcome to ask the price. When Jiu looked at the 2 girls running over and tried to make a friendly smile. What do you 2 beauties want to buy? Do you have that thing, the peach blossom talisman? Li Wanzhu spoke first, but Zhao Qinggai on the side didn't dare to look at the big man in front of her. The ferocious smile really scared her. It's a pity that Wen Jiu didn't know how scary her smile was. When she heard that the other party was here to ask for the talisman, the smile on her face suddenly became even more. Yes, there is a peach blossom talisman, one for 2,222 star coins. She took out a previously drawn one from the virtual space and placed it on the table. So expensive? Zhao Qinggai was afraid, but her frugal nature made her unable to hold back and ask. After all, in her opinion, spending more than 2,000 star coins to buy a piece of paper, isn't that just a waste of money? Hey, my talisman is really cheap. Wen Jiu saw through the other party's intention to bargain at a glance. Is it all handmade, and it works every time? This sentence really hit Li Wanzu's mind. Is it really effective every time? What if it doesn't work? Li Wanzu stared at the peach blossom talisman with bright eyes, thinking that if she bought this talisman, wouldn't she be able to be confessed to by the person she likes like her roommate? Wen Jiu nodded confidently. If it doesn't work, come to me to refund the money. The peach blossom talisman she produced must be a fine product, and there is no such thing as no effect. When the two girls heard this, they turned their heads and whispered for a moment. Then Zhao Qinggai said, your talisman is really too expensive. Can we get a discount if we buy two? No. Wen Jiu raised his index finger and waved it twice. I don't accept bargaining. People who know the business will naturally understand that my price is really very low. Don't look at me selling more than 2,000 star coins now. I may sell it for 20,000 next time you come. Hearing this, the two looked at each other and felt that this person was bragging. However, Wen Jiu was not bragging. If it were in modern times, the talismans she drew would have a starting price of 2 million if they were auctioned. It is because she started as a small vendor that she set such a low price. Although she is known as a human talisman printing machine, drawing talismans consumes not only mental power, but also requires her to use her supernatural power to convert a little spiritual power to attach it to it in order for it to work. So she sells talismans at a low price only during this period. After she sells out the talismans in stock, the price will increase if she makes talismans again. Boss, the cost of this thing is only 20 star coins at most, and you are really making a huge profit by selling it for more than 2,000 star coins. Zhao Qinggai has always been good at bargaining. Even though her previous attack was rejected by Wen Jiu, she continued to bargain without blushing. Besides, both of us have just graduated from the college and don't have a job yet, so you can sell it to us at a lower price. Unfortunately, she didn't know who she was facing. Wen Jiu stroked his beard with joy in his eyes. Is that so? Wen Jiu stroked his beard with joy in his eyes. I'm a student. Can you pay more to buy my talismans? Zhao Qinggai had a question mark on his face. What kind of student was this person in front of him? Was he the kind who had been held back for 20 years? Boss, can you sell us 2 peach blossom talismans for a total of 2,000 star coins? Li Wanzu naturally wanted to save as much as possible, so she started to bargain with Zhao Qinggai. No, you can buy it from other stores at this price. Wen Jiu put away the smile on his face. She would not do this business at a loss. After hearing her words, Zhao Qinggai immediately pulled Li Wanzu and made a gesture to leave. Zhao Qinggai understood the psychology of these street vendors. As long as they said their desired price and left immediately, the other party would definitely agree to their price and try to keep them. Unfortunately, she couldn't figure out Wen Jiu's thoughts. Seeing this, Wen Jiu said lazily, goodbye, I won't see you off. There are 3 stalls selling talismans on the left, turn ahead. The two had just walked a few steps away, and after hearing her words, they didn't know whether to leave or stay for a moment. Or we can go to another cheaper store to buy. Zhao Qinggai leaned close to Li Wanzu's ear. The goods of the street vendors are all purchased from the same place. The high price here doesn't mean that the price of others is also high. We can't use. Damn it. She was interrupted by Li Wanzu before she finished her words. Look at the girl behind, the one wearing a pink leather miniskirt. Li Wanzu kept glancing to the right and back. That's the girl. She looks exactly like the one I'm in love with. Hearing this, Zhao Qinggai turned back quietly to take a look. The other person had a slender figure with flowing black hair casually scattered behind her. They thought that this girl also came to buy the peach blossom charm, but the first thing she said was, Master, do you have anything that can make boys hate themselves? Today's 3rd update has been delivered. Please check it out, little angels. Thank you little angels for your support and love for the little author. The little author will continue to work hard Everyone, please remember to go to bed early. After catching up with the updates in the early morning, I hope everyone is in good health and eats well. Chapter 100. It's all peach blossoms that cause the trouble too. Something that makes the other person hate him. This was the first time Wen Jiu heard someone want to ask for this kind of thing. But the girl in front of him looked very sincere, and from her beautiful face, it could be seen that she was indeed deeply troubled. There was a dark glow under her eyes, and the depression between her eyebrows did not dissipate. It must be said that Wen Jiu used to think that most people in the Star Network world like to choose virtual images. As a result, after going to the store more often, she found that many people here prefer to show their real images. Master, is there any way to help me? Jilinga really didn't know what to do. After chatting with her friend tonight, the other party suggested that she come to the stall for help. At first, she was a little hesitant. After all, metaphysics sounded like a lie. But she was really desperate. No matter how she changed jobs or moved, she would be harassed by that person. And the other party just happened to appear every time, and there was no evidence to show that he was harassing her. It was precisely because of this that she could not sue the other party in federal court in exchange for surveillance protection. Yes. When Jiu glanced at the two girls not far away, the two of them took out a mask from somewhere and put it on. They were approaching carefully, as if they wanted to eavesdrop. Really, Master? Jilinga really wanted to get rid of that person, and her tone was much more anxious. I can pay any amount of money, as long as you can help me stay away from that person. Tell me what the situation is first. I will analyze it and give you some advice. Although Wen Jiu could calculate that this girl was surrounded by peach blossoms, he had to listen to the other party's specific matters. If you get paid for doing things, of course you have to help the client accurately analyze and make decisions. So Jilinga began to tell her own experience, and when Jiu listened, while paying attention to the movements of the two girls. I really can't accept that he's married. And I found not only his wife, but also other girls besides me in his phone. So I immediately proposed to break up, but I didn't expect him to keep haunting me. No matter how I moved or changed jobs, he would come to my door after a while to ask for a reunion. I'm now broken by him. If I really can't find a solution, I can only consider emigrating to other planets. Jilinga had just finished telling her story when she saw two masked people appear next to her. One of them stood next to her and said in a trembling voice, "Are you telling the truth?" Hearing this, Wen Jiu and Jilinga looked at the man with doubts. Li Wanzu took off her mask in a flash and then began to tell Jilinga about her own affairs. He kept telling me that he was single, but had someone he liked, and that he was being lured by you, but you were his white moonlight, so he couldn't give up. He actually told you that? Jilinga was very angry after hearing what Li Wanzu said. How could there be such a disgusting scumbag? Yes. I still have the chat records here. Li Wanzu quickly flipped through the Ziggy panel. Look, he also told me to wait for him a little longer, and only after he cleared his mind could he agree to my confession. To be honest, Wen Jiu really didn't expect this to be so exciting. Her fortune-telling stall turned directly into an emotional dispute program. Seeing that these girls' crusade against the scumbag was getting more and more intense, Wen Jiu quickly said, "Beautiful ladies, listen to me." After the words fell, Jilinga and Li Wanzu finally stopped discussing and sharing records. Zhao Qinggai next to her was still a little stunned, and obviously she didn't know how things turned out like this. The person her friend liked turned out to be a married man, and he was still raising fish and picking up young girls everywhere. I suggest you gather the evidence first, and then we sisters unite to take down that scumbag, so that this beauty won't have to worry about the price of buying a peach blossom charm, and the other beauty won't have to be harassed by the scumbag anymore, right? After hearing what Wen Jiu said, the two girls hit it off and exchanged contact information, planning to meet in reality. However, Li Wanzu and Zhao Qinggai had something else to do, so after chatting, they left the Star Network world directly, leaving Jilinga looking at Wen Jiu with a happy face. Xiao Dai is right. Thank you for your help, Master. Who is Xiao Dai? Wen Jiu was very confused about this. Jilinga may feel a little embarrassed that she has occupied Wen Jiu for so long, So she took out the money and chose a fortune bringing charm to take away. Master son, I'm leaving too. If this charm is useful, I will recommend it to others to help you attract business. After she left, Wen Jiu only sold that one fortune bringing charm at the stall all night. However, Wen Jiu was not worried about her stall business. She sold a lot of charms yesterday, and I believe that many customers will come to her in a few days. So she immediately left the offline and lay on the bed to look at the message list on the light screen panel. She had only been setting up the stall for a few hours, and she received messages from several people. First, there was a notice officially released by 3047 Academy. The Academy will hold a memorial service for the students who unfortunately passed away in the Dianui Forest incident in 3 days, and after that, Wen Jiu's class will officially resume classes. Then there was a message from Lulu, who was going to help her sign up for the park with new anchors. If Wen Jiu was willing to sign up, she would be able to go on the park stage and park with other new anchors later. By then, her popularity in traffic would be greatly improved, which would be very beneficial to her in general. So Wen Jiu agreed to Lulu's proposal after browsing the park rules and also communicated with Lulu about the welfare recommendation for signing newcomers. Originally, this recommendation should have been given to her today, but Wen Jiu felt that he had not been live for so long and wanted to communicate more with old fans first and then recommend more new fans later, so he delayed this benefit. However, if he was going to park next, the more fans the better. So Wen Jiu communicated with Lulu and decided to put her live broadcast room on the recommended list tomorrow. The last message came from Zikingayu. Wen Jiu was shocked when she clicked it, because Zikingayu sent a very long essay. At first, she thought that Zikingayu had sent the wrong homework that he should have handed in to the teacher, but when she looked closely, she realized that this person actually wrote a 1000-word essay to himself to accuse Kyoshi. Goal is the first in StarCraft. I just made a joke, and then she said let's go and have a try. Then I thought I definitely couldn't lose, and then I habitually said a few words. I admit that what I said was a bit arrogant, but she couldn't pin me to the ground and beat me. When Jiu saw this, he really couldn't help laughing out loud, causing Kyoshi to pop her head out of the quilt. Jiu, why haven't you slept yet? Today's first update has been delivered. There are a few more delicious foods these days, but the plotline is also moving forward. Thank you to every little angel who gave rewards, votes, collections, check-ins and comments. You are all great. W welcome new cuties, welcome to join the pit. 030 mumbling. You can usually click on ads to get book coins, reading points. You can get more than 10 for each time you read. The young author once saw an ad and got 999 book coins, which was very shocking. 0.0. Also, the young author has written 200,000 words. I feel so happy. I really didn't expect that the first book could have so many words, and I will continue to write and write. Try to write 1,000,000 words. Hehe, happy year. W the following thanks to the little angels who gave rewards yesterday. Thank you to the little angel Wenkan for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Wansheng for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Wansheng, small account, for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Do You Want to Eat Ice Cream, for the reward. Thank you to the little angel Little Moss for the reward. Thanks to the little angels who voted for the monthly ticket yesterday. Thanks to Xiaoa for voting for a monthly ticket. Thanks to the little angels who voted for the monthly ticket. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.